And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. You could be pretty much anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. Thank y'all for joining. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets tonight. We're talking about that George Floyd body cam footage that got leaked. Why didn't this come out from the very beginning? Were they trying to start something that we didn't know about? Who knows? But it should have come out a long time ago. It's to the point now where some people can see the footage and not even be swayed at all and think that this is some kind of racist attack on George Floyd. Really ridiculous stuff. Also, Joe Biden, this guy is not all the way there. And it's really a shame that he's out there. The handlers, the Democratic Party, his wife, whoever is out there responsible for this should feel ashamed because this man has no reason to be out there. Also, a elected official, not just a random moron on Twitter, an elected official says we should abolish history, at least the way that we know it right now, because it promotes racism. Anti-black racism, that's a new wave nowadays. Anti-black racism, it can't just be racism in general. Minneapolis police say, hey, you know what? You're pretty much on your own. If you get robbed, go ahead and give it up. If they want something else, give it up. It doesn't really matter. Keep your life, maybe. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all for joining. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. Thank y'all for being here. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe right now. And when you do subscribe, click the bell as well. When you click the bell, you get notified whenever I go live and/or post a new video. And again, thank y'all for joining. We got a whole lot going on, and I appreciate y'all for coming. No, I do not sniff cocaine. Shout out to Joe Biden. That was crazy. Like, why would you say that? Why would you ask that, sir? Why would you ask Joe Biden? I'm talking about him. Why would Joe Biden ask why would he say that as a joke in response to the reporter's question? That was totally inappropriate and it didn't make any sense. And if that was anybody on the right or anybody that is mildly affiliated with the right, like if Joe Rogan said something like that, he'd be called a white supremacist right now today. But because it was Joe Biden, then it's all right. It won't even be covered. The funniest thing I saw was some of the headlines that reported that whole issue. And before I get into that, let's talk about what I'm saying first if you've not seen my video. Now, I did a video today about Joe Biden. He was at this virtual convention. Imagine that, a virtual convention. So right now, I guess we're having the virtual convention, the show. I mean, that's not really a convention. But anyway, they were having a virtual convention for the NABJ and the NAHJ. Now, the NABJ, I know about them. I know people that are in the NABJ. That's the National Association of Black Journalists. That's like the Roland Martin squad. You understand what I'm saying? And they were there with the NAHJ, so Black and Brown Connecting, because that's the Hispanic version of the NABJ. But anyway, they're having a so-called conference or convention, whatever they want to call it, and Joe Biden is there. He's the guest of honor, I suppose. And as a matter of fact, there's a full interview that's going to come out tomorrow, I think at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I cannot wait. I may do a subsequent video about that video when it drops. But anyway, so Joe Biden is being asked some questions by that guy. His name is Errol. What's his last name? I forget his last name, but I remember his first. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up right now just so I don't give you wrong information, incomplete information. It was a black reporter, and his name was, Errol Barnett. That's ERROLBARNETT, Errol Barnett. Anyway, Errol's asking a couple questions, and then he gets to the thing about the cognitive test. Sir, you taking the cognitive test yet? He's like, why didn't you take that? He got triggered. You know what? That's like a sign of dementia right there, where you get triggered at questions like that. No, I ain't taking no test. I don't need to take one. And it's like, wait a minute. Just a few days ago, you were talking about how you've taken tests, taken a bunch of tests on the trail. And so, and also, I think there was the former White House doctor or physician, not current, but former White House physician, came out and said that Biden took a cognitive test back in 2018. So you got some lies flowing around. Joe Biden said just a few days ago that he did take a test. He takes several tests a day, or, several tests, like each one every day. The physician came out and said he took a test back in 2018, and now he's saying he's not taking one. So either he's lying, he didn't forgot what's going on. Something is not right with Joe Biden, and it's pretty clear. It's pretty obvious to anybody that has, that has an honest viewpoint on it that something's wrong with this guy. But he got triggered as a result of the question about the cognitive test, which is we all wondering about the cognitive abilities because he is not all the way there. We want to make sure that this guy has his marbles, has his screws tightened up, and is not got a few screws loose, because if you want to vote for him, which most of us aren't going to do, but if you do want to vote for him, you want to make sure that he's not losing his mind. But anyway, he got triggered and it was like, man, nah, yo, that'd be like if they ask you, take a test for cocaine, are you a junkie? It's like, okay, there's a few things wrong with that. That might be a joke, or you're just trying to make some kind of comparison. But why would you go to cocaine and ask if I'm a junkie? Why would that come to your mind? Out of all the things in the world, why that? Why would you make that comparison? This is racially insensitive. Like I said, if this were anybody else, if it were even a guy like Joe Rogan, a guy that's not a conservative, but he appears like he is friendly with some conservatives, so that makes him guilty by proxy. If he were to say something like that, he'd be called a racist. If Trump were to say something like that, he immediately, white supremacist, Klan member, impeach him. But Joe Biden says it ain't no big deal, it's no problem. Okay, so that's how I know all this stuff about racism and whatnot is just bogus. It's just a way to attack people. It's not even really a thing they really care about. The left are racist. So when they launch a racism allegation against us, then you know what it is. It's just phony. People just trying to, support their side and to attack you with that. That's all that there is. When it comes to their side, they totally ignore it. But that was crazy. It's like, why would you go towards like cocaine? So when you see a black person, you think about the crack era of the 80s and the 90s when you were writing the crime bill, Joe Biden. Is that what you're thinking about? I mean, this is, and at a certain point, somebody might say, oh, that wasn't really that bad, ABL. That might have just been, a flub, a gaffe. But at a certain point, if you make gaffe after gaffe after gaffe after gaffe after gaffe, then it becomes a pattern. That's just you. That's just what's going on with you. You're going to always do that. You can expect him to say things like that because he has a pattern of doing it. There was also the kerfuffle with the Breakfast Club, with Charlamagne the Guy, if you remember that. Where at the very end of the interview, the handler that he had, Joe Biden that is, was trying to get him off the line, trying to get him to the next interview, trying to get him to just stop. But he just wanted to add one little thing, trying to be witty, and it just didn't come out right. He said, if you don't know, if you want to go for Trump or me, then you ain't black. So basically, look, if you're not a Biden supporter and you're black, then you don't know who you are. You hate yourself. You hate being black. So this 77-year-old white man is going to tell you, if you are a black person, that you're not black if you don't vote for him. That's what's going on. And if you are a black reporter, he's going to make a joke about you being a crackhead and all this and that on TV. Totally embarrassing, not professional at all. I've never seen Trump say anything like that as far as somebody being a crackhead. I mean, that's really crazy. But again, this is Joe Biden. He can do whatever he wants because he's on the left. There's double like I said before, if not for double standards, the left will have no standards at all. Everything's about a double standard. There is no, there's no evenness. There's no fairness on the left. It's all double standard. Do as I say, never as I do. That's pretty much how it goes. And again, that's back to the whole thing about it being a pattern. Once you see a pattern, that's pretty much what it is. And it's not going to be anything else other than that until the pattern is broken. And in the case of Joe Biden, the pattern's not going to be broken. IGS New York thought he was 80 years old. I mean, if he's 80, I wouldn't be surprised because he looks every bit of 95 years old. Joe Biden, he looks terrible. And it's a shame that he's out there on the campaign trail. He should not be out there. We can all see that Joe Biden is having some kind of mental problem, some kind of brain issue. I don't know what it is specifically. I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose him. But good grief, somebody should diagnose this man and get him some help, get him some treatment or something. Don't have him be out there in the campaign trail. And then he says he's not going to travel. Okay, he wants to do the debates, right? But how many does he want to do? The Democratic Party do not want him out there debating at all. They don't want it. They have come out with op-eds. When I say they, you know what I'm talking about, the left, which include the politicos and the journalists. They're pretty much the same thing. There's no difference between an elected official on the left and a journalist for New York Times, LA Times, Washington Post, Huffington Post, CNN Times, et cetera, et cetera. So they're all the same. They all know each other, work together, et cetera. You got people making op-eds talking about he should skip the debates because Trump always lies. And there should be a moderator there that will point out every time that Trump lies. So, all right, when you say something like that, that's to assume that Joe Biden is always an honest person and will never say anything wrong. I'm not even saying that Trump is a liar. I think the media are making up stuff, talking about 20,000 lies. You know, Trump could say, you know what? I think today is a beautiful day. It's sunny. It's 85 degrees. And then they'll fact check it talking about, well, it wasn't quite sunny. It was partly cloudy and it was 84 degrees on the White House lawn. Therefore, he lied. That's kind of how ticky-tack they are to come up with some kind of really big and inflated number. That's really what they do. All right. Not even joking at all. But anyway, they won't have a moderator there to fact check Trump on site. But to me, that's just stalling tactics. They don't want to have the debate. And if they do have the debate, they want to give Biden every advantage. They want to make it be as much in his favor as possible to try and defeat Trump because they know he can't go out there and actually succeed in a debate against Trump. Can you imagine going on? Can you imagine Trump and Biden having a debate going on live TV? Oh my goodness. Like if Biden, but I'll give him this though. I'll give him credit for this. Biden has moments of clarity, you know, moments of lucidity. He has those. But he also has times where he just crashes and burns. So if he crashes and burns live on TV and Trump's just going in for the kill, like you ever seen a UFC fight where the guy gets stumbled, he falls down, and then the other guy has not been stopped by the ref, so he's just delivering hammer fists, bam, bam. All this right here is just getting pushed straight into the mat, his head bouncing up and down, he's starting to bleed. That'd be kind of what it's like when you're talking about a debate between Trump and Joe Biden. I don't mean that literally. Anybody trying to flag me, I don't mean that literally. I mean it figuratively. That'd be the extent of how bad the debate goes, strictly verbally, just from what Trump is saying to Joe Biden. It'd be the equivalent of a guy that's getting pounded out when he's pretty much out. He's sleeping, he's snoring, right? You can hear the snoring audibly through your speakers at home, but he's getting just hammer fisted over and over again. The ref is right there, just not stopping it. Throw on the towel. It's like that with Apollo Creed. He was getting beat to death. That'd be pretty much what goes on. So I really don't want to see somebody just that cannot defend themselves get beat down. But if he wants to debate, then it is what it is. Step in the ring, right? If you really want it, if you want to be the president, it's just like if you want to, fight Mike Tyson in his prime back in like 87, 88 for a heavyweight title. Okay, well, this is what you want. You work to get here all your life. All right, what's up in the ring? And if you ain't built for it, you should just fall back. Now, I think that Joe Biden might, as a cool kid say, fall back. He might do that because he is not going to physically be able to actually go forward. Who's going to be the VP pick? Who's going to be the stand-in? I have no idea. They're talking about Hillary Clinton, but Hillary Clinton on her last leg too. Hillary Clinton had to get Geppetto throughout the campaign in 2016. She couldn't even move 2 feet from the curb to the car. She was a broken down vehicle back then. All she could do right now is, put on different full-length Chairman Mao coats at speaking engagements and sit in the chair and talk for about a half hour and do that. But she can't be out there on the campaign trail stumping for anybody or for herself. So they're talking about Kamala Harris. Nobody that he has on his side will be successful. Then they're talking about, what's the guy's name? Alan Lichtman, I think his name is. saying that Joe Biden's going to beat Trump, and they were trying to, give him some type of attention because he called it correctly last time. Like, he said that Trump would win, and he did win. He also called the impeachment, and that did happen. But I don't think that he's not going to be right at this particular point in time, in my humble opinion. I don't believe so. It could happen, but I don't think so. All right. But again, thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video. Like the video. Share the video. Do all that good stuff. I most certainly appreciate you guys. Come on, man. Who said that? Shout out to, that comment went by. That's what Joe Biden was saying during the interview. Joe Biden, man, I don't see how anybody can see this man and think that he's a good pick for president. And you know what? That's the strategy of the left. They don't want you to see this man. They want you to hear commercials that have been carefully crafted, heavily edited, so you don't actually see the man. If you see the man, he looks ridiculously terrible, okay? And I feel like they probably put makeup on him when he's at home, because I saw him on the Shade Room. It was the Shade Room interview. This is a black Instagram page, right? They did an interview with him, and this man looked like he was about, he was looking like George Soros right now. And this guy got to be about 100 years old. Speaking about Soros, Biden looked as old as he is right now. He looked terrible. This guy cannot be the president. But see, the Democratic Party know that. They understand that. They know that if you see him, you're going to be totally turned off. A debate can change a whole election. The polls may be a certain way right now. They could be misleading because people might not want to say that they're going to vote for Trump. But when you see Joe Biden out there on a debate stage multiple times, oh my goodness. That's why they only want to, if they're going to have a debate, they want it to only be like once or twice, because if he's out there more than once or twice or three times, every time you see him, his ratings are going to go lower and lower and lower and lower. All right. That's going to be what it is. Every time he speaks, he dips because people really see who he is. The people that say they're going to vote for him right now that have not seen him are remembering what he used to be, or his affiliation with Barack Obama, and more of the latter rather than the former. They might have seen him talk a couple times when he was with Barack Obama, but they've not seen him in a very long time. And he did not have to be the front guy back then with Barack Obama. Now he wants to be the front guy. Who knows who the actual VP pick is going to be? I don't even really know. Kamala Harris, Susan Rice. They might pick some random person. Whoever he picks, it doesn't even really matter. What matters the most is the debates, and when anybody has a chance to see him at a rally, perhaps, during long form interviews. It's weird that hold on. Shout out to Interracial Patriots who says, ABL, that interview with Joe was hilarious. Joe knows he is terrified of debating Trump. He doesn't want that heat. No, he doesn't. And thank you for that, Interracial Patriots. I appreciate y'all. You guys follow them on YouTube, Interracial Patriots. But Biden does not want to. Biden may think in his mind he can debate, but he knows that he probably shouldn't. And the Democratic Party do not want him to debate. Biden reminds me of the guy that is like 45 years old, so trying to play basketball. It's like, sir, your days are past you. You were good back in 1997, but this is 2020, sir. I mean, your days have long past you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's pretty much Biden in a nutshell. He thinks that he's one way, but really a different way. And that way that he is right now is not going to help him coming up here anytime soon at all. And speaking about things that aren't going to help, in, Chicago area, you have a state rep, an elected official, not just some random, moron on Twitter with an egg avatar. Nah, an elected official in the state house, not the big house. I mean, that's going to be next, talking about senators and whatnot saying this. But anyway, the state rep says that you should abolish history. And the reason why, you ask, well, he says that until we could come up with a better solution to teach history without invoking racism or breeding racism or white supremacy or whatever, we got to abolish history. And he wants to put something that's better in its place. Now, what I think he wants to have is his own version of history. Personally, I would say if you're going to abolish history, first of all, you got to immediately replace. Don't just have no history be taught to kids just for a period of time. Replace it right away and show everything that happened. Don't just cherry pick some select few things. Okay, if you're gonna talk about slavery, talk about all slavery, not just the Europeans with the Africans. Talk about how the Africans sold them. Talk about how the Arabs bought them and sold them, and the blacks, and talk about all that stuff. Don't leave things out. What the guy in Chicago wants to do is to have history that's taught in a way that will benefit him, not to show everything. Okay, he's talking about racism. How is history racist? How does learning about history feed racism? It doesn't make any sense. Like, these are things that happened. You can't change history. You can't change it. Now, they'd like to change history. I'm talking about those on the left. They want to change history, of course, but you can't change it. Things actually happen. There's record of events that went down. You cannot change history. But of course, they want to do that. You can't do it. Okay. Oh, 55-year-old boxer. Yeah, you're right about that. See, we'll talk about Mike Tyson in a little bit. But you cannot change it. So what's the point in trying to hide it? But they've been trying to do this for a while, so I'm not surprised at the guy trying to ban history because it's racist or whatever. It's the same thing they do with the flags and the monuments. I've been saying the same thing. I've said it right when they started doing with the Confederate flag. I'm like, okay, first is a Confederate flag, then it's going to be the American flag, then it's going to be George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, then it's going to be just history in general. The objective of the flag burners or the statue smashers is to erase history and then to put in their own version of history. Okay, I saw that over in London, not London, but somewhere in UK. Small town somewhere, there was a statue of a so-called slaver up in the town square. And some BLM people over in London, quote unquote, replaced it with a statue of some random girl and with the fist raised up to represent Black Lives Matter. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, that's what you want to do. You want to replace history. You don't want to just, have offensive symbols, move to a museum. No, you want to remove history and replace it with your own version of history. So when people come to this particular square, they won't see the man that you don't like. They're going to see you and your likeness. That's what's going on. You want to place yourself in the history books rather than just teaching history for the way that it is and letting people that aren't you decide who's in the books and who's not. All right. Shout out to Curtis Reynolds, who says, hey, what are you trying to say about people over 45 playing basketball? I mean, I know you're right, but dang, man, you hurt me right there. Hey, I'm 35 and my knees hurt right now. I know that when I was 16, I can go out there and dunk. I could dunk at 16, but right now it just ain't the same way. And I see a lot of pro NBA players that are out there that shouldn't be out there. Like Jordan. Jordan was still nice when he was on the Wizards, but it was not Chicago Bulls Jordan. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't the same thing. And at a certain point, Joe Biden's got to realize that he's over the hill and can't do what he used to do anymore. At 77 years old, I mean, he's old, like age-wise and mentally, physically, all of that. He's old. Now, he could still be out there moving and shaking at 77, but that's not what's happening. All right. You got some guys in the NFL like Tom Brady that could still throw it at 40, 41, however old he is. But some guys get to be 28 and they're retiring. So it is what it is. Basically, what I'm saying is Joe Biden is pretty much a wrap and can't really get her done. All right. Yes, if you removed history, you're doomed to repeat it. That's right about that. You're right about that, Greg. 1,000%. And you guys might have seen on my Instagram, I probably put it on the screen the last time I was here too, about that book burning they did in Portland, Oregon. They don't understand that they're doing the exact same thing that was happening back in Nazi Germany. They don't really get it because they don't understand history. They have not been taught history and or they ignore history. But you can learn a lot from history. I learned today that there was a TP shortage in Russia back in communism, back in the Soviet Union. Okay, so this is not a new thing that we're going through. It's already happened before. And once we can study history, we can understand how to prevent these things from going on again. We can figure out a lot from learning what happened in the past because we're all still human beings. And at a certain point, we're not going to change from being human. We can learn from prior civilizations, prior just history in general, what happened, how they do it, how they We can avoid bad things and we can receive good things if we know how people did it before us. Okay, here's a clip right here. Now, you know what's going on in Germany, 1933. They're burning books. And then here's Portland, Oregon. By the way, they're burning the Bible right here in Portland. So, I mean, and that power is pretty pathetic, but they want to get it pretty big.
Reichsminister Dr. Goebbels spricht zur Jugend.
So, I mean, we've already been here. It's not anything new. People don't really understand that. People don't know history. They have no idea. And now I have all kind of, you're right about that, Angela Crouch. There was a lot of different things that were shortage, that we had a shortage of in USSR. Not we, but people over in USSR, there was shortage of a lot of different things. There is always, in communism, there's always a shortage. If you go to Cuba right now and you're trying to buy some things, there's going to be a shortage. You're not really going to be able to get what you want all the time. And if you do get it, you're going to have a very limited option of things to get. That's how communism is. Communism seems great when everything's rolling right. You got money. And then when the money's gone, when all the people that can produce things and have money are dead because you killed them because they have too much money, what are you going to have left? Nothing. You have basic rations and you have your handout begging for basic food and medicine and everything else. That's pretty much how it goes. It should have burned the iPhones, exactly. 1,000%. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much what that is. But these people don't understand history at all. And you have to know what happened before to understand where you're going to go. That's just really what it is. All right. Okay, what else we got going on? And thank y'all again for joining. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up. If you're listening on the audio streaming platform, I appreciate you for that, first of all. Second of all, go ahead, give me a 5-star rating. Go ahead, like it, share it, email it, whatever you can do. I'd appreciate you for that. And what else? Oh, Minneapolis police. Talk about them right quick. Minneapolis police put out some tips and tricks on how not to get robbed. Now, some things that were in the list would make sense in certain situations. In certain situations, not all the time. Basically, they're saying if you're getting robbed, give it up because you don't want to fight the person, have them kill you or something like that over a cell phone. Now, that's not always going to make sense to just give it up because it depends on the context. Where are you at? You talking about giving up the car keys? Like, it doesn't really always make sense to go ahead and give it up. And people, when they see that, they're not going to understand the nuance. They're just going to see, okay, I should just not fight and let them do whatever they want to do. But that's dangerous because criminals don't only just want your phone and your keys all the time. That's what they generally want when you're getting robbed, your phone and your car keys. They want that, but they also want more. And if you're a female, that could cause a lot of different problems for you, if you understand what I'm saying. So, and if you're a man too, it doesn't really matter who you are. Sometimes it makes sense to fight back. And you know what the best way to fight back is with a weapon on you. The police did not say, hey, go ahead and get armed and protect yourself. Now, in Detroit, a few years back, matter of fact, it was in 2014, they said that specifically, hey, we cannot protect you. Go ahead and go out there and get armed right now. And there was a woman that protected herself in her home from some home invaders with her long rifle. Okay, she didn't die and everybody was good in the house. It didn't really say that part. So if you're going to put out some directives and whatnot, how to not get robbed, how to survive a robbery, you should put out that you should get armed. That's the main thing right there. They're talking about walking in groups. I done heard so many people getting robbed while they're walking in the group. It's not even funny. You know, the equalizer here is get armed, get trained, open carry, concealed carry, whatever you can. Personally, if I were, out there in Minneapolis, I'm open carrying on my chest. I got a long rifle, shotgun, whatever I can get. Matter of fact, a long rifle, it's accurate. When you see it, you already know what time it is. I can maintain my distance. I can be far away from a place that will have a guy jump out. And if he does jump out, I can just pull that rifle and I can go ahead and get the rocking and rolling, guitar style. You understand what I'm saying? So that's pretty much how I do it. But yeah, definitely get yourself armed and train. And for me, I think the best weapon would be like a carbine rifle, easy to control, accurate. Handgun is good for carrying, like on your hip or concealed, but I like a long rifle. You know, I got 1 or 10 of those. I won't say how many I have, but just know that I'm armed. That's all you got to know. Anyway, stay armed. Don't just say, okay, give up, because you can give up your life giving up. And then the thing about that from Minneapolis, when they put that out there, it's not just people that live in Minneapolis that see it or the regular normies that don't commit crime. You also are giving it to the entire world. Guys from Minneapolis that are the criminals, they're going to see it. Guys from the surrounding area, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, they might mess around and drive to Minneapolis to engage in the criminal activities in the bonanza. Okay, the police said that they really can't do nothing. They're waving the white flag. They said, if you got a gun, they're going to give it up. Okay, cool. I'm going to go to Minneapolis and pull my gun out, and they're going to give it up. If I was a robber, that'd be my mentality, because people got to understand this whole thing about like AOC. People like AOC live in an alternative universe. They don't understand the way that the world really works and the way criminals work. They travel. And they're known. They're notorious for traveling. Back in the day when I was going to ODU in Norfolk, Virginia, I was hearing stories, people that came from different parts of the state, way far away, 2, 3, 4 hours away, just to go to ODU and rob the college kids, because it was an easy lick. It was a pluck, as a cool kid say, as they call it back in Virginia. It was an easy pluck. That's what they call it. So that's what they would do. They would travel. They would do the same thing. And we're seeing it right now with the so-called protests, the riots. You know, they come from all over the country to go to these riots. They're getting bussed in. They're getting paid. We're seeing what's going on. And the guys that are out here engaging in the robberies and kidnapping and the drug running, they do the exact same thing as BLM rioters do. You know, criminals don't have much of a varying degree of behavior pattern. They travel. They seek opportunity. That's just what it is. All right. Selling drugs is the same thing. Rather than just being in your little small town, you might go to New York, North Carolina, Ohio, West Virginia, and sell your drugs there. Matter of fact, a lot of guys that got, I think in Huntington, West Virginia, because you know I was born in West Virginia. In Huntington, West Virginia, I think there were 3 or 4 guys that had been shot and killed in a whole year. Like only 3 or 4 guys got shot and killed in the whole year in the city. And they were all from Detroit. And they were all selling heroin. So this is what it is. Guys are going to travel. So if you're in Minneapolis and you say something like that, you're going to attract criminals to your city to engage in carnage. So if you live up there in Minneapolis or anywhere with a crazy leftist liberal mayor and or governor, please arm yourself and get trained. You know, practice your rights. Second Amendment, please get armed and get trained. You're going to need it, because the police, if they're being defunded, you're going to be less safe. You're going to have more criminality in your particular area where you live. You know, hopefully you live in a safe area, but if you don't, like I have not sometimes, then you got to be armed, protect yourself. It is what it is. But you know what? That's regardless. That's sound advice, being armed and trained. That's sound advice regardless, but especially right now because of all the crime wave that's happening due to the police being defunded and or disbanded and or retiring. AOC says that if you defund the police, it's like a suburb at the end of the day. I mean, this is the delusional ivory tower suburban living people that have never lived in these type of areas. They don't understand the way these things work at all. They don't get it. But it is what it is. All right. Yeah, you could be streetwise and whatnot, but you definitely got to protect yourself. Now, the QAnon Twitter accounts, I don't know much about that. All I heard was that a lot of them got banned. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on with that. So I can't really comment on it. But I feel like what's happening is that they're just trying to crack down on anybody that is affiliated with Trump if they can. Now, I don't know what their angle was to shut them down. What was the reason why they shut them down? I mean, I don't understand. What, conspiracy theorists? Like, I don't understand what the problem was. I don't get it. Yeah, I've not heard any kind of explanation as to why they got banned. You know, that's why, I got my website, anthonyblogan.com. And thank y'all who have subscribed to the newsletter. Thank y'all who have visited. Thank y'all who read the articles. You know, I write 90%, 99% of articles on there. If you see my name on the article, I wrote it. The website is doing very well, and I want to have a focus on that. So, you know, they can't stop my website. They can stop whatever else they want. They can't stop my website. So it is what it is. All right. Let me see. Paul 48 says de Blasio is destroying NYC. Hold on, I missed that comment. It went by too fast. Yeah, but de Blasio is not doing a good job at all. You know, de Blasio is universally hated. Left and right, it don't even matter. It's not even a political thing with this guy. Not at all. All right, but what else we got going on? Let me see. What else we got? There was something I wanted to cover. Give me 1 second. Matter of fact, I know I did a video about this. Oh, the mail-in voting. Let's talk about mail-in voting right quick. You know, Trump gave an interview today on Fox and Friends. And by the way, I really enjoyed those Fox and Friends interviews. You know, I got up this morning, just happened to see it. He was like, hey, I'll be on 7:30 a.m. Enjoy. And he gave an interview for an hour, bright and early in the morning. Didn't miss a step, didn't miss a beat. Can you imagine Joe Biden trying to give an interview for 25 minutes, let alone an hour straight live on TV? It'd be no way to happen. No way. I think everything he's been in has been like pre-recorded. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but everything's been pre-recorded. He may have done some live streams, but he doesn't really talk much on those. To talk for like an hour straight, really without doing much pausing, is not an easy task. And Joe Biden would not be able to accomplish it. So I want to see him call into Fox and Friends, 7:30 in the morning, bright and early with energy, and then give an hour-long interview without any kind of stumbling or bumbling or whatnot. He's not going to be able to do it. Not at all. But getting back to the interview, they're talking about mail-in voting, and then Trump says that Florida has a good infrastructure for mail-in voting, and they should be able to do it, and other states don't. Now, the thing about it is, you're talking about absentee ballots or mail-in voting. That's a difference. It's not the same thing. When the left say mail-in voting, what they mean is universal mail-in voting. So anybody that's registered as a voter at all, if you're on the list of registered voters, you get sent a ballot. You just get sent the ballot, and nobody will even ask you. You just get sent it. Now that's dangerous because you may have moved since then. You may have died since then. So why would you get sent a ballot? It's easy for a guy to just get a bunch of ballots to his house, you know, a bunch of former residents, because think about it like this, apartments and stuff, people sometimes are very transient and they move in and out, in and out. So one girl could have been there for 2 years and she voted there. Another guy was there for 2 or 3 years. You see where I'm going? It's been around 20, 25 years in my apartment. You got multiple former addresses that might link back to there. You see what I'm saying? Even 10, 15 years, they all link back to there. And we know how mail gets lost, or quote unquote lost. The people that handle the mail, the package handlers, it might just say, you know what? I don't want to deliver this. I'm going to just throw it in the garbage. I don't even really care. I've seen that happen before. I saw one situation where a lady, a postal worker, had a bunch of mail in a storage unit because she couldn't deliver it. Like, I don't know what the logic is behind that, but it just wasn't delivered. So imagine if your voting record, if your ballot was in there, how would you even know it's in there? How would you know where it is? You should just go to the polls and vote in person. That's what it should be. Okay, if we can go to Walmart and that's fine, why can't we go vote in person? Set up the voting booth in Walmart. How about that? Have it socially distanced. That's fine. And the way it is now with the voting, the last time I went, I think it was earlier this year, last time I went voting, you had the booths that were not like packed like sardines. You had breathing room. Just go in there and vote, and that's it. It's easy. It's not going to be a super spreader. It's not going to be this big thing where it's going to spread the virus. And if you want to vote from home, file for an absentee ballot. Request an absentee ballot. That's what you should do, rather than just getting a ballot in the mail and say, hey, go vote. It don't matter if you live here, if you did, or if you asked for it, just go vote. So Trump was talking about that. And I think that Florida has the absentee ballot system working pretty well. And then if they wanted to do mail-in voting, they could because of the infrastructure. Now, that's very important, though, the infrastructure, because a lot of these post offices are just jammed, packed right now. They're jam-packed right now. So how are they going to be able to perform better with the influx of absentee ballots and or mail-in ballots. In New York, they're still dealing with the election from like 6 weeks ago. It's been 6 weeks and no declared winner because they're trying to count all these ballots that came in late. The incorrect postage, the postmark date. So many problems with mail-in voting is ridiculous. Okay, have it in person, and if you must vote through mail, then file for it. Don't just get a ballot sent to where you live. That'll cut down on the amount of strain on the post office, and that will also make sure that votes are secure. Because if you got a mail-in ballot, anybody I can mail that in, and then it's just, I can say that I'm you, mail it in, and then that'll be pretty much that. That's how that goes. Ryan Simmons says, give us more information about forced vaccines. I have no idea about forced vaccines. That's beyond my pay grade, boss. I have no idea what's going on with that. I think I heard something about Bill Gates saying that you're going to have forced vaccines, but I have no idea what's going on with that. None whatsoever. Yeah, they might have mobile voting, but that's also, when you're dealing with the internet, you can be hacked. And I think with an election, you don't want to have so much technology involved because it's easy to get hacked, and you don't want that. Matter of fact, okay, they're having Zoom court. So the craziest thing in the world, you can go to court through Zoom. Now, my thing is, okay, if you go into court through Zoom and you get locked up, can you get locked up on Zoom? Like, did it come to your house and arrest you? How does that really work? I don't really know. Is it like buying a car from CarMax? You go online and get locked up, and they come in and get you? Is that how it works? But anyway, here's a little snippet, a little headline from our article. All right, remember the guy that hacked Twitter? Remember him? And it was this whole big Bitcoin kerfuffle and whatnot. Now, this guy was on Zoom court, and the Zoom meeting got hacked by people playing some naughty stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So if you are, listen to me now, if you are a hacker that hacked Twitter, you hacked Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and stole thousands upon thousands in Bitcoin monies, maybe even into the M's, your own Zoom court hearing gets hacked? What? So too much technology, when it's not really refined, does not really make a whole lot of sense to me. Let's get technology refined first. Let's let it work perfectly or as good as it can. Make it be better rather than just have all these loose ends where it could just get hacked and they could do whatever they want to do. Okay? We can't have that type thing going on. Hey, when I read that, I was like, man, are you serious? But dead serious, 1,000% serious. But I'm not even surprised anymore. Things like that going on. Oh, let's talk about this governor from. Let me think. Where is this? Iowa governor. She signed this thing into law that says, okay, she caves to Black Lives Matter and grants felons voting rights. Republican, by the way, Kim Reynolds. Now, some say ABO is a good thing. You should be able to vote if you're a felon or not. Well, if you want to vote as a felon, what you should do is get your rights restored. Don't just say, okay, anybody that wants to vote, go ahead and vote. You got chomos, murderers, all like the drug addicts. If you want to vote, then you should be able to apply to get your rights restored like anything else. That's the way it should be. And the same thing with owning a gun and everything. Yeah. Go through a process to get your rights restored. Don't just have it be automatic for every felon in the country. Violent, repeat offenders. Nah. What that means to me is that you want to have more Democrat voters. You're pretty much acquiescing to Black Lives Matter. That's what it seems like, because the same thing happened in Virginia right before an election. I'm talking about October. Terry McAuliffe, I think he gave felons right to vote. Matter of fact, let me look it up right quick. I remember watching that. It was like, wow, really? You want to do this right now? This is a transparently political move. Let me look it up right quick, because I know this happened under Terry McAuliffe. And hold on. A chomo is a child molester. That's what I was talking about. You got chomos and murderers being able to vote. Okay. No, so it wasn't October. It was April. So April of 2016, he signed off on the thing that gave felons the right to vote. Okay. And in August of 2016, like late August, it was official on the books. So we're talking about November is the election. So like 2 months out from the election, he gave felons right to vote. So that's enough time to go ahead and get registered and vote in the presidential election. And Terry McCarthy, he was the governor of Virginia at the time. So when you see Virginia going blue or purple or whatever, don't look anywhere else. You can see why it's going like that because of what the leadership are doing. They're trying to make it be that way. Not only the leadership, but also people that move there from other parts of the country. It's becoming like a little small San Francisco, New York up there in Washington, D.C. metro area. That's what's going on. It's the same thing going on in Texas where you have Austin and whatnot turning blue. It's because the outsiders moving in that make it be that way. Californians like Joe Rogan coming in to Austin, making it blue. You know, people say that Joe Rogan's going to vote Republican. Why? For what? I mean, who's he going to vote for this time? That's what I want to know. Is it going to be Trump? He said he might vote for Trump, but will it be Trump? Who knows? And how about locally? Will he vote for a guy like Beto O'Rourke or Ted Cruz? You tell me. All right. But thank y'all again. I definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up. I definitely appreciate you. But yeah, if you want to vote as a felon, you know, talk to the governor, talk to whoever, and get your rights restored. That's the way it should be, rather than just saying, okay, you can just vote and get that restored, because some guys really shouldn't even be free. Some guys should, and to the good guys that have been able to correct themselves, get your rights back. But it shouldn't be a blanket thing for everybody. Not at all. Not in the least bit. James Harris asked me, where do BLM donations go? And when you find out, let me know. I have no idea. I have no clue. I suppose it goes to the people that founded it. It's not going to George Floyd's family, which is where it should be going. It should be going to people like George Floyd's family. But it's not for some reason. His brother got on TV and said he's not got any money from Black Lives Matter. Now, that could have changed in the past, I don't know, week or two, but I doubt it. I don't think so. They got their money and they're just, living a good life. It is what it is. All right. Let's get to some super chats here. And we got calls in a little bit. Thank y'all for joining the stream, joining the chat. If you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to the video. When you do subscribe, click that bell as well. When you click the bell, you go live whenever. When you click the bell, you get notified whenever I post a new video. So you get like a little notification on your phone. Ding, ABL's on. So let that bell ring. All right. Yeah, BLM, I think they most certainly do give money to Democrats. Like, if they give money, who's it given to? It's not given to black folks that really need it, because George Floyd's family should have been the first one that got some money, but they didn't. So it is what it is. All right, let me see. Super chats on deck. Thank y'all for being here. You guys are fantastic. Shout out to, hold on, let me get everything set up. Thank you to Zachary Chichin, who says CNN equals conservative, Clinton, corporate news network, and clearly not news. You're my favorite and only conservative I can stomach. As a progressive, keep it up. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Sarah Capello for becoming an ABL supporter, as well as Christopher Brogan and Relax Mellow. I appreciate y'all for becoming a member of the ABL supporter team as a member of YouTube. Thank y'all. Thank you to Brett Sessoms, who says Joe Biden gets way too many free passes. Exactly. He could do whatever he wants because he's a Democrat. He could come out right now and say he hates black people and they find a way to justify it. I've seen that happen live on TV. It'd be a black Democrat that'd get asked, how do you feel about Joe Biden's remarks as, the you ain't black comments? How you feel about that? Well, he's right in the sense, if you vote for Joe Biden, you're not black. Like, they try to actually say it's okay to say that, but if it was the other way around, then it'd be racist, and they're trying to get him, impeached and to get Big Ross Little Rocks. That'd be pretty much how that goes. Thank you to Retro Gamer 81, who says Biden won't go to Milwaukee to accept nomination. Any chance he debates, or will they cancel it due to sweet and sour sniffles? Hilarious. Sweet and sour sniffles. That is beautiful. Now, he has to debate. He has to debate, but they're going to want to have it under their own terms, under their own conditions. But I don't think it's really going to fly. That's going to be kind of a non-starter to have their own terms and conditions. But he has to debate. If he doesn't, he's toast. He's toast anyway, but he's even more toast without debating. But you know what? It might be better for him to not debate because he'll always perform worse. Every time you see Joe Biden out there and he says anything, he always tanks in his poll numbers. So if he debates, it's going to actually hurt him a lot. But I'm not sure how you can not debate and still have a chance. I don't really get it. Thank you to Newly Awakened for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to John316 for the donation. Thank you to Steve Kelly, who says no vaccines. H-Naw, I'm right there with you, boss. Thank you to Charles Turner Jr., who says New York toilet paper times, LA slimes, Washington compost, CNN, MSNBS, etc. are filled with left-wing activists disguised as journalists. Correct. 100%. Ain't no question about that. Thank you to SF, who says, what is ABL thoughts on the body cam footage? Did I talk about that already? Well, I'll just say it now. The footage to me just kind of reveals already what I known from the beginning. I knew that George Floyd was resisting arrest. My only question was, how did he get on the ground? Why was he on the ground? They were trying to put him in the car. So how did he get from the car to the ground? And now I know he refused to get in the car. I want to lay on the ground. I want to lay on the ground. I want to lay on the ground. He kept asking over and over again to get laid on the ground. So the police laid him on the ground because he was refusing to get in the car. He was torpedoing his body throughout the back of the seat. So he laid on the ground. Okay. And he was high, obviously, high as gas. I mean, that was clear. It's unfortunate that he died, but the reason why George Floyd died is because of his own doing. He was on drugs that caused him to have the episode. Now, as far as the whole kneeling thing, the knee on the neck, that was an approved practice in Minneapolis at the time when it happened. They've changed that since then. You know, it took off the books, but it was in the books at one particular point. When they were out there doing that, that was an approved technique. People can say that it was bad, it was too long, but it was approved. So if it was an approved technique and Floyd asked to get put on the ground and he was high on drugs and the first autopsy says that he died as a result of the drugs, I mean, it's going to be very hard to convict Derek Chauvin for what they're trying to charge him for. Right when they said like second degree, I'm like, man, he'll beat that. There's not enough there to say second degree murder. If he gets convicted by a sympathetic jury, he'll appeal and beat that. It might go to the Supreme Court, but he'll definitely beat it. And it wasn't malicious intent. I think it was just a tragic situation. My only thing was, I think Chauvin should have rendered him aid and looked at what was going on with him just to make sure that he was okay. That's my only gripe with what Chauvin did, but everything else was by the book. That's it. Now, we can say now that knee is not a good technique, but that's being Monday morning quarterback, hindsight being 2020. Because at the time it was a good technique. It was on the books. So what are you going to do? All right. But again, thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. Yeah. As a matter of fact about George Floyd, the police said stop resisting, and so did his friends. Remember, he had passengers. He had a male in the driver's side, in the passenger side, and a female in the back seat. Now, they were questioned by police, and everything was calm, cool, and collected. There was no problem. So the girl, I think over here saying, hey, you can't win. When you're trying to like fight the police and not get in the car, like, I ain't trying to win. But she was pleading with him to stop resisting the arrest. You're not going to win. What are you doing? He was not listening because he was too high and excited delirium to even hear anything anybody was saying. That's what was going on. That's what took this man's life. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Thank you to, let me see, Richard Getz, who says Biden can't get anyone to accept the VP nomination. That's a problem. No one wants to be on that ticket. Yeah. Nobody wants to be there. But you know what? The funniest part is that Stacey Abrams, a.k.a. Big Mama, a.k.a. Stacey M1 Abrams, she was begging for months to be on the ticket, and he totally ignored her. They totally ignored her. The campaign, that is. But now you getting to the wire, down to the wire, past the wire. The wire is up. The bomb has been detonated. You got 5 seconds to move out the way before you get blown up, and he's still not decided who the VP pick is. You might have to go back and double back and ask, the old flame, what's that? Stacey Abrams to be the VP, because he's running out of options. Pickers are getting real slim. Thank you to Son Goku, who says Trump would do Biden like he did Vince McMahon on WWE if they were on a debate stage. Exactly, 100%. Thank you to Inspirational Patriots, who says ABL, or I already interviewed that one, I think. It says ABL, the interview with Joe was hilarious. Joe knows he is terrified of debating Trump. He doesn't want that heat. Exactly. Thank you to New Wave Bossa Nova for the rocket emoji donation. Thank you to Richard Getz, who says, was Biden actually tested for mental acuity, or did he just plagiarize the results? Hilarious. Hilarious. Thank you for that. Thank you to Week of Civil War History, who says, buy a shotgun and scare off the criminals. Hey, you know what? I want to get that rifle because I want to be accurate when I'm shooting. You understand? I want to be able to, just tear off some of the, but I'll move on. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Noreen Ryan, who says, I'm terrified that the Democrats will steal the election through mail-in ballots. Dead people and non-citizens will be voting. People voting multiple times and whatever else they can get away with. Exactly. That's the point. That's the purpose. And I feel like they're going to use their enforcement arm, Antifa, to have this thing go through, which is why Mazie Hirono did not want to say Antifa was bad or condemn them in any way, because she understands who they are. They work for the DNC, directly or indirectly. That's what's going on. All right. Shout out to Retro Gamer 81, who says thoughts on Sleep winning in the primary. I mean, it is what it is. I think the challenger was also a Democrat, so what are you going to do? Shout out to Slavika Topic, who says, why does the set of Ellens look like Epstein Island? It does look like that blue and white stripe building. The horizontal stripe in the cube building looks just like Epstein Island. Now they're talking about sexual harassment on set, and she wants to end the show, all this, that, and the third. What's really going on? I don't know. Let me see. Thank you to Alvin Side for becoming a member of the ABL squad. Thank you to Shadowhorn74, who says, keep up the good work. ABL, God, USA, and Trump 2020 all day long. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Double O Tyrone, who says they went as far as burning Bibles. OMG. Exactly. Yes, they did burn Bibles. Yes, they did. Thank you to Apu Bakar, All Puff Daddy, who says Keith Ellison releases body cam footage of George Floyd's arrest. Black-owned businesses that were destroyed. RIP Sequoia Turner, Horace Lorenzo Anderson Jr., Ataya Marie Kelly, David Dorn, David Patrick Underwood, and others. Exactly. 1,000%. Thank you to Truth and Politics for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Apu Bakar, All Puff Daddy, who says, hey, ABL, Oprah lecturing on white privileges. She's worth $2 billion with a B. B as in boy, $2 billion. Vala Davis says she regrets her role in The Help. She worth $12 million. I mean, I don't understand why she regrets rolling The Help, but she don't regret the How to Get Away with Murder, that sitcom she's on. I've not seen that, but I heard it's like Scandal, and Scandal is ridiculous. Shonda Rhimes, the person that produces Viola Davis's show, How to Get Away with Murder, also produces Scandal. Now, in Scandal, I was just minding my business, right? Flipping channels one random day. I don't even watch TV, really. I watch the news and I watch sports when they don't have BLM stuff going on. But I watch the news all the time. I watch HGTV, Home Improvement. Okay. So I'm flipping the channels. All of a sudden, I come across Scandal. I'm like, okay, what is this about? Let me just watch it for 5 minutes. And they showed an abortion scene, and they had soft music playing in the background. They made it be some kind of like noble thing to have an abortion. I was like, really? Is this what we're going to have on TV? Like good, like abortion being depicted in a positive way and a nice and kind and soft, and nah, this ain't that. You're killing a baby. This is a murder scene. This is a snuff film. They ain't show the baby being killed, but they showed like the abortion. Like they had this big long forceps, and it was crazy. It was crazy. So Viola Davis, you involved with something like that, Viola Davis. But The Help was somehow a bad role you don't want to be in? Why? I don't understand how that makes any sense, but I digress. All right. Shout out to Apple Bucker, Apple Daddy, who says, "Hey ABL, what's your opinion on South Carolina Representative Jim Clyburn? I think he's an evil genius. He's the reason that Joe Biden is a Democrat nominee." I don't know a lot about him, honestly, so I don't know. That gets to Charles Turner Jr., who says, "Look at cities run by left-wing officials for decades. Their crime rates and gun laws, most, if not all, are unmitigated disasters." 1,000% correct. Absolutely. That gets to Apple Bucker, All Puff Daddy, who says, "Hey ABL, what's your view of reparations? Would you accept reparation money? What would you do with it?" Reparations, it's just more government spending unnecessarily. I'm not a fan. If it was to be given out, it should have happened back during slavery or right after slavery was over with. You can identify the slave master and the slave owner, or the former slave master and the former slave. You can identify them and give it out right then and there, but that's not, it didn't happen. 100 years ago, we got to move on with our lives. No reparations. Thank you to John War Robot for your donation. Thank you to WrestleGamer81, who says, "Have you seen the pro sports ratings?" Yeah, they're tumbling down because nobody wants to see Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot in their face all the time. And NHL was doing good with the whole BLM stuff. They were standing for the flag and no BLM, no nothing like that. But all of a sudden, it became woke overnight. I guess they were getting pressure from some of their so-called fans, right? They get pressure from the fans, and all of a sudden, here comes the BLM stuff. They're kneeling for the Canadian anthem and the United States anthem. And they got this big display talking about ending racism. They got their 3 black players in the whole league out in front center talking about how oppressed they are. Some Canadian guy talking about, "Oh, we're oppressed, you know, all that good stuff." I'm not a fan at all. It's just so dumb. It's making me hate sports, and I'm a sports fan. I love sports. I love basketball. I played it back in the day when I was not old and my knees were, not 1,000 years old. I've been to pro sports games. I've been traveling to go to sports games. I just enjoy it. It's fun. It's a good pastime for me. But now they ruined it. I'm upset. I'm triggered about that. And thank you to Black Conservative Patriot. Thank you, sir. He says, "Great commentary as usual, sir." I appreciate you, man. Hey, if you guys in the chat are not subscribed to Black Conservative Patriot, do so right now. Again, Black Conservative Patriot, subscribe to the man right now today. Excellent content on his channel. Subscribe to him right now. Tell him I sent you. Alrighty. Thank you for joining, man. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Orlando, who says, "Correct me if I'm wrong, but did whites not help Oprah get rich and famous?" Of course they did. That was her main base back in the 80s and really still to this day. But now she didn't turn woke and is on this whole pro-black thing. But how did you even get rich, Oprah? It wasn't from the black community. It was from white suburban moms at the crib in the daytime. That's what was going on, Oprah. So don't play games. Thank you to Ryan Simmons, who says, "Give us more info on forced vaccine." I don't know about that. Thank you to Mike from Queens, who says, "New name for Joe, a.k.a. Hot and Biden." Exactly. That's a great name for him, Hot and Biden. Thank you to April 4172 for becoming the ABO superstar. Thank you to Sarah Wedgemiller for becoming an ABO supporter. Thank you to Tiana V for becoming a member of the ABL squad. Thank you to Debauchy, who says, "Hey, what up, ABL? Keep up your amazing channel. Love your content. Will do. Thank you for your donation and your very kind words." Thank you to Max Dominguez, who says, "Do you know about Dr. Stella Emanuel? She is pro-hydroxy as a cure for the virus. She's in Houston, Texas. She did a great interview today on Michael Berry show, available on the podcast." I've not heard that particular podcast, but I will check it out. I'm a big fan of hers. She did very, very good. That was a video that it sparked from that video, I had so many views, my whole website crashed. The web host called me and said, "Hey, we need to get you upgraded because you get so much traffic from this. It's just blowing the whole website down." That video opened a lot of eyes all over the world, not just here in this, but all over the world. That video on my website has 600,000 likes on the website featuring her. So I spread the word. They tried to stop it here on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Nope. Try again. My website. You can't stop that. How about that? So the video is out there. The word is spread. We know what treats the virus. We know what quote unquote cures the virus, and we're going to use it. You can't stop us. And it's funny how people talking about, oh, you can't use a drug. You can't use a drug. It was one guy, I think he was a political guy, some low level guy, might have been a state rep. He said, oh, the drug is not a wonder cure. It doesn't really work. And the reason why he said that is because he was in the hospital fighting the virus. And he'd taken the drug. And it's like, well, you ain't dead, so something's working. And if you took it, then if you took it, that's your choice. How about give me that choice to take it? Don't take, things the way they could work. You see what I'm saying? You're not dead. You took it. Okay. How about I take it and I don't want to die either? How about that? Thank you to LAW who said, keep it up, will do. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Zachary Titchen who says, you see conservative, Ammon Bundy support DTP and BLM. I don't know what DTP is, but you're talking about Black Lives Matter. Well, is he conservative or what? I think Ammon Bundy was just a guy that was against big government. Conservative, I'm not really sure. If you support Black Lives Matter, if you support Marxism and destruction of the country, that doesn't make any sense to me, But it is what it is. Shout out to Rebel Stacker who says, ABO for President 2024. Thank you for that. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Cyrus Cherry who says, what do you think of all these woke people being canceled, such as Ellen DeGeneres? They hate themselves and others as a result. And you know what? They are, it's an old saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And what I've said lately is if you live by the woke sword, you die by the woke sword. Same thing as Nick Cannon. He wanted to be all woke, talking about Jews this and Jews that, all of a sudden. And here comes black folks retaliating against him because he apologized for saying that. So, hey, when you live by the woke sword, you die by the woke sword, okay? And once you pick the woke sword up, you can't stop swinging it. You got to always swing that woke sword because you're going to get attacked from all angles by other wokies and by the normies. That's how it goes. All right. And did I get everybody? And shout out to my brother, Black Conservative Patriot, for becoming a member of the ABL team as the ABL superstar. Thank you for joining the channel, sir. I appreciate you, man. And shout out to all of the new channel members and everybody that's watching right now. If you enjoy what you're hearing, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. We got a whole lot going on tonight. I'm gonna open up the lines right now. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And again, subscribe to Black Conservative Patriot right now if you're not already. Everybody here should be already, but if you're not subscribed to him, go ahead and subscribe to him right now. And also, if you're watching me, subscribe to me too. And when you do subscribe, click the bell as well. When you do that, you should get notified when I go live and or post a new video. You should get notified. The button might work, it might not work, I don't know. But give it a whirl, try it out, see what happens, and let me know how it works. If it doesn't work, let me know. All right, let's get to the calls. Again, 434-658-1220. Let me see. Should you call in? Go for it. Why not? Let me see. Katie says, what I think about ancestry selling 75% of customers' information? That's not a surprise. These companies that offer you free services or reduced cost services, they're going to sell your information. They might even have that in the fine print. If they do have it in the fine print, I won't be surprised at all. That's pretty much par for the course with these companies like that have, these so-called free services. It's pretty much how it goes. All right, again, 434-658-1220. Let me get my sound and everything working properly so you guys can hear what's going on in the stream without all the ringing and stuff in the background. All right, let's get that level down, and then that one. There we go. All right, ready to rock. Let's get to it. All right, Jordan, what's happening?
Yo, MBO, what up?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Yeah, that footage, man, it was going crazy. People were thinking that since you were the first guy to post something about it, that they would delete the video off your channel or something.
Nope. And you know what? That's why I had the website, because you can delete that. That's fine. Still got my website. What you gonna do? It's still gonna be there.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the things I found very interesting is that Floyd had claimed he was claustrophobic, which is why he couldn't get into the police vehicle. when he was in a car like minutes before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't make any sense. It's like, okay, you were in the
And
car driving, and the space in the car was almost the equivalent to what you were going to go in the squad car. So I don't really, it didn't make any
and
sense to me.
and he was driving it, which activates those almonds a little bit.
Right,
That,
exactly.
that he's high as a kite, and he's driving the vehicle. That really, really is interesting. But this whole thing goes to show that the prosecution should not have bumped this up to second degree murder, because that footage kind of destroys it. It's going to be very difficult for them to prove that.
Oh yeah, it kills it. It totally kills it. I don't understand what would make second degree murder from that footage. I mean, they were trying to arrest him. He was resisting, violently resisting, not wanting to get into the car. They actually did what they wanted. That they did what he wanted them to do, which was to put him on the ground. So it's like if you are trying to work with the guy, trying to help him, and then something happens that's a very unfortunate and tragic situation, how does that become second degree murder? Is there any malice out forethought? Is there any kind of intent? There's nothing like that there. And the knee on the neck hold was approved by the department. I can't say that enough because people say that, oh no, the knee, 8 minutes, 46 seconds. Okay, I understand that, but this was an approved technique.
Yeah, it's going to be hell on earth from here. The trial starts, I think, in March 2021. So await that anytime, sometime soon.
Oh man, it's gonna be crazy when it happens.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a show.
yeah.
Unfortunate.
And Governor Cuomo is freaking out right now because they're planning to raise taxes in New York City. And with the protests and the riots and the pandemic, all these businesses are moving to like Connecticut, and he's begging them not to and begging them not to increase taxes. Um, Also, he admitted that the top 1% in either New York or New York City, I don't know, the top 1% pay 50% of, I think, state taxes.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. That's how it always is. And people say, oh, you got to tax the rich, you got to pay their fair share, all this, that, and the third. Well, how much is their fair share? What, all their money, all their possessions, everything?
Yeah, exactly. Also, that news just come out. I didn't know if you heard about that. You got articles from like CNN and a bunch of other sites saying that Kanye West had that whole campaign to divert from to split the black vote. What are your thoughts on that? Because just now I'm seeing articles pop up talking about Republican operatives are using Kanye West to split the black vote and create another Jill Stein. I'm hearing that. What are your thoughts on that?
Jill Stein, like what? Like, did Jill Stein get any of the black vote last time? I don't remember that. Do you?
I don't remember that. Did she get anything
I
last
don't. I
time?
don't think so. I mean, the black vote would not be split by Kanye West, and then people think that way. Like, is that racist? I don't even really know. But Kanye is not going to split the black vote because he, number one, can't even get on a ballot in most states. That's first and foremost. Second, he's not out there enough to get to people that would vote for him. And he would appeal to mostly younger people. And the reality is that most voters are going to be older,
Yeah,
So
like in Texas.
yeah, so nah, that's not even going to really happen.
Yeah, I figured. But people are at this point trying to go all in on Kanye West for this. Hopefully he does well. I don't know. Hopefully things go good for him. But as a last note, for the history thing, you know what I did to learn Black history? I went to my school's library and got some Black history books. Like I read books on Black scientists and engineers and got inspiration from them at the library instead of having it actually being taught in class. So this whole changing history classes thing is just nonsensical.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
All right, I'm gonna bail. Nice chatting with you. I'll be in chat.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, peace.
Peace. All right, shout out to my man Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Hey, shout out to the Smurfologist who says, you the man, ABL, keep doing your thing. I like your nickname for the Chicago mayor, Dirtyfoot. I use it all the time. Keep spreading the message. Will do. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Yeah, because her name, Lori Lightfoot, I'll call her Dirtyfoot. All right, let's get to the next call. All right, caller, who am I speaking to on Skype?
and got inspiration from them.
Caller, can you hear me?
Instead of having it actually be
Hello.
this whole changing history.
All right, you gotta be ready for the caller for the call to pick up. All right, caller, can you hear me?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Let me turn you off. I've got the YouTube channel on over there. How you doing, man?
Everything's
Good to
great.
see you again. Yeah, that webcam footage is what I was calling about, but I'm not really sure how that's going to affect the court proceedings from here on out. I wanted to ask where you found out that the knee on the neck thing was actually department policy.
Well, I read it. It was on their website. It was on the Minneapolis.
Is it?
Yeah. Like I did a video a while back about that, and I had the source and the link. If I could find it, I'll put it on the new article I wrote, because it was right there. You can read it. It was like in their code, right in their handbook. It was an approved method. And after this whole thing happened, it took it out. They had to change it because then they realized, we can't have that right there. Now we're gonna go and fix it.
Yeah, you wonder because with everything else that's been going on, right? You've got COVID going around. It's an election year, and you figure there's some bit of this that why did they leak that first part only, right? Somebody in the department wanted that leaked, otherwise it wouldn't have gotten out, right? I mean, that came out immediately. There's no reason the other stuff should have come out as well. Somebody did this. I mean, I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but I think somebody did this to deflect some attention someplace else other than, Epstein and that whole thing. It's an election year. You've got Biden goofing up everywhere. You've got with the virus, everybody's on edge. And this is just a match on Tinder. It was not cool, but
Yeah.
can you imagine what it's going to be like if the guy doesn't get charged with anything?
Oh man, it's gonna be rough. But you know what? What ended up happening is this: you gotta have things die down after a while, and then nothing will happen. Because, remember the whole thing with Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, how kind of like tense things were back then. Well, he just didn't get charged after a review. This is almost 6 years ago this happened, and he just didn't get charged. But it's been no real, problems as a result. There's been no real unrest from that, because it's been a long time ago. People forget stuff like that. So if you wait a year or two, have the trial conclude, it won't be any problems. But if you say it right after it happens, that there won't be any charges, then it's going to be a problem, because it's fresh and it's right there, top of mind.
Yeah, it's kind of like going to somebody when you're in the midst of a fight and saying just the wrong thing, and man, that just throws it over the edge. This is, I think United States right now, and I'm looking at it from out of town. I'm calling from Japan, but looking at this from like a foreign perspective, man, if this were anything else, I'd call this an insurrection. It really looks like somebody's trying to do a political coup. And from the 1960s, there was this kind of political movement, right, to say if we can't win in an honest way, in an honest fashion, we're going to start riots. And you'd have these riots just break out, and when they wouldn't die down, they'd say essentially exactly what. Do you remember what was written? Ted Cruz put this in his presentation to the House Senate the other day. What was written on the wall of the courthouse in Portland? It said, if you don't defund the police and disband the police and get rid of ICE, we will burn your city to the ground. I mean, it was a threat. It was a full-on threat.
Right.
And so, I mean, how brazen this is. It looks very much like an insurrection. It's craziness.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's pretty much what it is. They're trying, but hopefully they're not successful.
Well, the good thing about our Constitution is that the president's only going to be there for 4 years, whether you like him or not. It doesn't matter which president it is. He or she is only going to be there for a little time. They're not king. So, I don't know, man. Thanks for taking my call. You got a lot of callers waiting. Keep up the good work, man. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Take care.
All right, shout out to the caller. And you guys are fantastic. Number to call, 434-658-1220. All right, man,
Yo.
what's going on?
What's good, man?
Everything's good, can't complain.
Hey, me either, man. Me either. Just surviving out here. Hey, I got a question for you.
All right.
What do you think about the NFAC?
I think
The leader, actually.
that the leader, I think this guy might not be who he says he is, because he's talking about he was in the military, he was trained, and you know I saw that footage of him doing some kind of gun demonstration in his house. It didn't look too safe, and then I saw him, at the range shooting a rifle from 30 yards, a rifle now, and he missed the entire sheet that he was shooting at. Like, it didn't even hit the sheet at all.
Wait. 30 yards?
30 yards.
30 yards.
Yes.
Wow. Let me say this, man. I think it's a beautiful thing when you can get so many people together for a cause, but the leader got to be right.
Yeah.
And in this case, something about him, man. Like you said, he's like imposter or something like that. I saw footage of him actually at a council meeting or something where he was trying to run for president, and he did not sound anything like he sounds today. That was back in 2016. So when in that demonstration he did, talking about the bolt sliding forward, that's how you load a round into the chamber. That's not how you fire a bullet. And like you said, there might be something fishy about his military record. But the biggest problem I had, I don't know if you saw this, was when he said that if there are any black people out there that has anything against what he's doing or criticize him or anything like that, then he's willing to go to war with them and all this other stuff. And that's what really threw me off. So you have a guy that can mobilize 3,500 people armed. So you're talking about he'll attack other black people if they don't agree with him. And that's just ridiculous. Like, something needs to be done about this guy, man. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you for sure. I think he probably would get the FBI to come in NFC and infiltrate. That'll probably be next. They'll probably infiltrate the whole situation, and then he might get caught doing something he shouldn't be doing. I saw one video that's kind of fishy. It was a guy recording him on the phone, and then he was talking about getting paid, and there's some money coming in, but he might have to be out. He was like, "Nah, you gotta be quiet. You gotta keep that on the hush." So where's the money coming from? Who's paying them? What's really going on? Like, they might get disbanded pretty quick here, because it could be a threat, because you got guys like that leading the situation, leading guys in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. Like, I did a video on my take on that situation, everything that I found out, and I had people coming after me. Of course, you know what I'm saying. You can't go over to people's cult leader, but you're right. You're absolutely right. When a guy like that has such a huge voice with a movement like that, and the way he's talking, and it kind of reminds me of Farrakhan.
Yes.
Right? He has that Farrakhan type of magnetism. He has that Farrakhan type of way of speaking. And Farrakhan has been talking crap for how many years? 50 years, something like that?
Yeah.
Talking mad crap about the government, and nothing has ever happened. So that's what I'm seeing going on right now. Like, will this be the same situation? And I don't trust Farrakhan as far as I can throw him. But, you know, if your issue was reparations, and if your issue was getting land for your people, like, why are you going about it in that way? Like, why are you attacking other black people who don't agree with your message 100%? And that's never a good thing. It is not good to attack anybody who criticizes your movement or criticizes your leadership. And in my mind, if you're going to be a good leader, you got to be willing to accept criticism from anyone, right? And take it in, especially if it's constructive. You know, all the, the trolls, you can let them go by the wayside. But, man, I don't know about this guy. Like I said, it was beautiful how he can get so many people together under one accord, but his ship ain't tight. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look out for this, man. There's something's not right about this guy.
I'm with you 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's all I got for you. Oh, one more thing. So, Trump said that it's patriotic to wear a mask. Are you gonna wear a mask now, brother?
No.
What was that about? What was that?
I don't know. Just trying to encourage people to wear masks. I mean, guess you're trying to do something good, but I mean, he could say that and that's fine. But no, I've not worn a mask yet, and I don't have any reason to wear it now.
Right. Yeah, I feel you. Me either, man. All right, man. That's all I got for now.
All right, man. Thank you for the
Good
call.
talking to you, man. It's been a minute.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Definitely appreciate him. All right, caller, can you hear me?
Right about this guy.
I'm with you, 100%. Okay, can you hear me, caller? Rachel? Okay. Now, I didn't want to say your name, but I had to get your attention. If you're on Skype, if you call in at all, there will be a delay in the stream. So you're not going to be able to talk to me just the way we are right now while you're on the phone or on Skype. It's just not possible because it's a delay. You're going to hear like a later version of what's actually happening. That's just the way it is. The latency is like that, so I can keep the stream stable and not crash or anything like that. And also have pretty good quality with the sound. Okay, so let's get to the next call. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Call you on the line, we'll speak to 807-801.
How are you this evening?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, I wanted to talk about a few things that have been bothering me, and I posted them on my channel. One of the things is, if you look at the BLM movement and Antifa and all that, that falls into all of the 45 communist goals to take over America. And whether you call it communism, Marxism, or socialism, I think what we are seeing is an attempted takeover of America to reduce capitalism, eliminate it even. Your thoughts on that?
Well, of course, that's always the goal for these groups. They think that they want to eliminate capitalism, but what they are really striving for is just to enact communism. That's what they did in communism too. If you have money, if you're successful, you go ahead and kill you and take your money. That's the whole thing. What they say, eat the rich. That's communism right there. They want to kill you, take your money. They want to kill the intellectuals. They want to kill anybody that can succeed outside of the system that they think is the best thing. And then they have their little system. It might work for a day, and then slowly but surely things fall apart. And it always ends with more people getting killed, put into the gulag, slavery, no food. It's always the same old sad song. People think they can do it better than the previous person or the previous people, but it never works out.
Absolutely. Well, the second thing that I wanted to bring up was, and I did a video on this too, but Joe Biden came out with a commercial that said on day one he's going to remove the travel ban from Muslim countries. And as a public safety professional, someone that actually teaches this stuff, that is the worst thing that can be done, because these countries don't vet people. If we didn't vet people with our firearms, we would have all kinds of mass murderers with guns. The same thing happens with these countries, with the exception that nobody, instead of having guns, will have radicals. And we are really heading down a bad road.
Yeah, I agree with you. We definitely are. But the good part is that I think more people are against this kind of behavior than are for it. I mean, much more, actually. I mean, the U.S. military, the federal government, regular everyday people. So I think that it'll be some resistance against that type of stuff. It won't just be, oh, we're just going to lay down and take whatever they give us. That's not going to happen, in my opinion.
Well, don't you think that part of the problem is, as conservatives, that we have laid back and not said anything when they came through with these political correctness things. And they just kept taking more and more and more until they just felt emboldened to do more.
I didn't quite catch that. What was the first part of your question there?
I'm just saying, we as conservatives, we have laid down for political correctness.
Yeah.
And so it emboldened them to get more brazen.
I understand.
And move on.
Yeah, some people have done that, and that's a problem. Just like the governor out there in Iowa talking about, let's just let all felons vote, just with a broad brush of a pen. You know, I think you should be able to petition to get your rights back as a felon, but not just everybody. I mean, you got murderers, child molesters, everybody. Not everybody deserves to have these rights right away. But, you know, when you just acquiesce to the mob and let them do whatever you want to do, then you just do stuff like that. But people got to stand up. And I think that once we see that standing up makes a difference, then we'll start doing more of it versus just, you know, letting things happen to us. If we just let things happen to us, then we'll lose everything that we hold dear.
Yeah. Hey, just so you know, I've been promoting you on my channel too. So hopefully it's helping you out some, even though I don't have many people.
Oh, it's all good. What is your channel?
Doctor of Disaster.
All right. Thank you for your thank you for your help and your promotion, and thank you for the call as well. Definitely appreciate that.
We've got to help each other, ABL.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. His channel, if you didn't hear it, was Doctor of Disaster. So shout out to him, and I appreciate him for his support over on his channel. And thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you want anything I got, any of the merch, any of the flags, links are going to be in the description box. Give them a little bit because they overwhelmed with the virus stuff. So, you know, hopefully things get out quick. I will promote things more, but everything's so overwhelmed with the virus, it's just kind of hard to get everything out the way it's supposed to be. All right, let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. 770, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, hello, it's Lisa. How are you this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Good. If you don't mind for a minute, I know you've been talking about various things, but I got a very interesting Facebook post sent to me, and it has to do with Social Security.
Okay.
And how a lot of Americans have been tricked on how it originated and how it has evolved. And I hope one day maybe you could research it and back some of this up.
Okay.
And if you've got just a moment, at the beginning of this email or this message, it talks about the way Social Security cards were designed. It was supposed to be very private. It was not used to identify you. It couldn't be used for identification. And then they started allowing that. And then Roosevelt, when he wrote up in the program, you could participate in it voluntarily, and you would pay 1% the first $1,400 of your annual income. And then they've changed it since then to where now you pay 7.65% on the first $90,000. And then if you're in your own business, self-employed, you pay 15%. And it used to be tax deductible. And also it was in a trust fund. It wasn't in the general fund. However, they changed all that under Lyndon Johnson. Then Bill Clinton and Al Gore come in, and you are taxed 85%. According to them, you can be taxed up to 85%. So many of us have paid into FICA for years and are now receiving a Social Security check and then finding that we are getting taxed on 85% of the money. But the whole thing that I'm getting towards, that I'm working towards, is it was Democrats that were behind all this change in Social Security. And they're the very ones that convince us Americans, hey, the Republicans are trying to steal your Social Security. It sounds like to me they have taken it. because Jimmy Carter said it was okay for immigrants to come here and at 65, without ever having to pay a dime into it, get benefits.
Mm.
And I was just wondering if you could back this up, or, maybe do a show on it. But that broke my heart when I read that, because I've never really thought about it. And I think about people that get $900 a month to live on, and all that money was used for other things, and that doesn't even pay your rent.
Right,
and
right.
Then Democrats want to scare them and say, oh, the Republicans are going to take your Social Security from you. And it is a Ponzi scheme, because if you had been allowed to invest that money, what would it have been? Maybe $1 million instead of like $1,000 a month? I mean, it just broke my heart. So what is your take? Have you heard this before?
That's kind of a deep thing there. I have to kind of look into it a little bit more to get more of an opinion. But, that's just really just government doing what they do, not doing things efficiently, not doing things properly. And then as a result, we, the people, have to suffer for it. And it's really unfortunate, but that's kind of how these things operate.
And the very fact that it was started up to be voluntary, some of us would be pulling out because the way they're abusing it now.
Right.
So,
exactly.
And by the way, you did a great job on George Floyd and bringing that to everybody's attention about, more footage so people could be more aware. And it's just so sad that so many towns have been destroyed because of lies. I'm so tired of the lies.
Absolutely. I mean, that's my main thing. Let's just get down to the truth. If it was a bad situation that happened and it shouldn't have happened, okay, but let's just get down to what happened. Let's not have any more lies, because like you said, towns have been destroyed, lives have been destroyed, lives have been taken because of lies.
Yeah.
Let's stop with the lies.
The lies are destroying this country. And, I am a conservative, kind of a libertarian, but I've tended to lean Republican. But if you're a lying Republican, you're not going to get my vote either. I feel like one of our famous forefathers said, if you could not look beyond your own party, freedom would be at stake. Your very freedom would be at stake.
Right, exactly.
But it was so nice talking with you, and this is such a great show. Just keep on doing what you're doing, and I hope everyone has a good evening, and I hope everyone hears what I say and goes back and researches how Social Security has evolved and how, it's a ripoff. We're getting scammed. We're doing all the work, giving them our money, and then they're not even listening to us, and we're the ones that should have a voice about what's going on. So everyone research.
That's right. And thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. And thank you all for joining. You guys on the drill. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658. 434-658-1220. And also, there's an email in the description box if you want to go ahead and get on through Skype. Check it out. And let me get to the next call. 630. Oh, you're the line I'm speaking to.
Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you well.
Oh, hey, how we doing today? This is Tyrone. I'm from Illinois. Just wanted to kind of talk about a few little things. One was the abolishing the history class. I think that's out in Cook County.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. When I first seen it, I was a little confused. I'm like, this can't be. This got to be fake. There's got to be fake news. Then I don't know. I registered my kids for school recently. I was like, hey, if you guys are going to plan on doing this, let me know, because they just don't have to go to school. I would just pull them out of school and homeschool them, I guess, or get a tutor. And there was another thing as far as I think someone brought up to me, a coworker, because I'm like mixed. I'm half white, half black. People say, oh, you voted for Trump. That's the white side of you. My coworkers, so I think there's only 2 Republicans in my whole entire job. One say, oh, I'm a Republican, but I'm I would like to see a Democrat president get in office just so we can say, oh, we can flip the script on them. I said, well, why would you want to do that? It doesn't make very much sense. It's like I don't really think that you're a Republican because everything that you're saying is kind of sound more of I don't know, more like a Democratic type talking points. You say you're Republican, but all your talking points are coming from that side of the aisle. And I enjoy your show, man. I just want to get your feedback on the whole, the getting rid of the history class and the burning the Bibles. It just seems like it's going a little too crazy. I always say 2020 is like, this is a whole entire different year. I don't know what is going on. It's crazy.
But you know what? The main thing is that you have the election happening, and I figured it would be like this last year. I figured, okay, you got 2020 coming up. It's going to be crazy because you got the election. It was the same thing going on in 2016. Not to this extent, obviously, because you got the virus going on and everything else. But it was crazy back then, too. So I think in 2021, things will die back down. The virus will magically be over with. It'll be a magical cure that happens. Won't be no more masks. And it won't be all these riots and stuff. That's my prediction for 2021.
Do you think they're actually going to get rid of the history class? You think that's actually going to pass? I mean, you think that's...
I don't know. It could pass. I have no idea. Like, I think what they might end up doing is what they have been doing in academia for a while is just, taking certain things out, trying to add so-called context, changing some of the books. That's already been going on. That ain't nothing new. But this guy just wants to go a radical step ahead rather than just slowly doing things through progressive ideology like they normally do. He wants to go full scorched earth and eliminate the entire class and just redo it from the ground up. That might not happen, but you may have some change that happens in an incremental fashion. It's where you don't even see it happening, it just kind of pops up on you one day, and then you like, well, why is my child being taught about sex in kindergarten? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's they're actually starting that like in first and second grade. I believe I had an issue with that. I believe it was the third grade with my daughter, and a book about two transgender people. And I'm like, well, yeah, I wasn't really for that. Yeah, it's crazy now. It's even more crazy because I wasn't really paying attention to most. Like, oh yeah, this just blow over. It'll just blow over. And now it's just like it's everywhere. Aunt Jemima, this, that. I still don't understand. They had a riot in Chicago about the Christopher Columbus. I'm still trying to figure out what a Christopher Columbus had anything to do with racism. I don't know.
Exactly.
But I don't want to keep you, man. I finally got on. I finally beat Ivan. I'm so excited. I appreciate it. Every time I get a chance, I'm gonna keep, doing a little bit of super chats or stickers. I get a little extra funds to help fund you out, man. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work. 2020, Trump 2020. My bad.
Thank you for your call and your support, man. Definitely appreciate you.
God bless.
All right, shout out to the caller, and thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience on the entire internet. Let me get some more calls going. All right, let's go. 716, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, who am I speaking to? 716.
Oh, hey, Anthony. It's Gene from 716 area code. Anyway, it's kind of funny. Previous call is very interesting. Here's little bit something I want to say about how do you do revolution. In October Revolution in Russia, what they did, they burned books. They destroyed churches, and they even changed vocabulary. So the newer generation of kids could not read books, old books, better in how the books was written. And basically, this is what's going on. Kind of. This is what's going on in USA right now, and in fact, probably around the world. But in USA, it's going on exactly the same thing. And what's your thoughts about that?
You said kind of a lot there. Like, so what do you want me to comment on specifically?
No, let's say about changing the history, like removing statues. There's like even quarters. You can't get quarters anywhere. They're replacing them with the newer ones. Do you know that?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
like
it's all around the world. They do that, and they're trying to do the same thing here. They say that they want to get rid of racist history or racist statues and monuments, but that's not really it. What they want to do is simply replace old history with their version of new history. Same thing happens in like Islamic countries where they want to tear down some of the monuments and whatnot and replace them with their own monuments, religious ideology. They want to remove that as well to put in their own religious ideology. That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And I just want to shout out to Robert Halden. Well, actually, I'm not getting drunk to call ABL. I am drunk when I am calling. But anyway, cool guy. Anyway, he's your moderator. But anyway, and there's the other thing. What do you think about that case about that Navy guy? Did you figure out? Did you find the final full footage when he was actually first assaulting the officer, and after that he received whatever he received?
I don't know anything about that. Where was this?
Oh, it was somewhere in Seattle or Portland. Actually, right now I don't remember because I have so many concussions. I grew up in 90s in Russia, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, sorry. But anyway, there's the other thing I want to say. This is how the revolution happens. First, they remove, the first thing they do, they remove the history, they remove the morals from people, they remove the churches and religion. And by the way, for many people, religion is very important thing. You cannot go to church, but you can protest and spit in each other's mouths. I mean, this is how you make revolution. And in fact, all the majority of the people, they are silent. Yes, they are silent. They just want to protect their family. They just want to be with their family and all that stuff. And by the way, you can congratulate me. I just bought semi-automatic shotgun.
Yeah, congratulations. Good. Like, what would you get? Remington?
No, it's actually, if you give me 1 second, we could talk about something else, but it's not Remington in this case. It's actually, let me see what it is. It's Viper G2 semi-automatic shotgun.
Okay.
And it's short version. So, yeah. But the manufacturer is, where's the manufacturer? That was a weird manufacturer name, but it does have good reviews. So,
gotcha.
3-star. Yeah. Finally, I got some because I have ammunition. I bought it one time ago, and I was about to buy. I forgot the name of it. Very good shotgun, but it's pump shotgun. And this is like semi-automatic. I'm like, yeah, I'll go for that. I'll pay a little bit extra because I couldn't buy the other one. They canceled my order because they ran out of stock. You know what I mean? It happens in USA this time, you know. And,
right.
You know, I got 22s, but 22s, what can you do with them? Unless you have fully automatic with a 55 shell barrel in there.
Right.
You know, yeah. So anyway,
well, I kind of like having no more time. I got to get to my next call, unfortunately. So I thank you for your call.
Oh, okay.
I definitely appreciate you.
Sorry, man. Yeah, I appreciate you a lot, man. Everything you do is great, and I love you, buddy. And everything you do, God bless you. And you know, we do have to stick to our beliefs and religion. I'm not fully religious person, but religion does help a lot of people, and they are trying to destroy that. And I see the problem
Right.
when what it's going to cause.
I'm with you. I'm with
you know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you for your
It's going
call.
to cause a lot of problems.
Thank you for your call. I
All right,
appreciate
buddy.
you.
I love you, and I love all of your subscribers. Wish
All right.
you all well, and thank you very much for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. All right, shout out to them for the call. Most certainly appreciate them. And the phone lines are blowing up. A lot of you guys are trying to come in right now, so I'm gonna try to get to you as soon as I can. Y'all just hang tight. Don't go nowhere. Let's go. All right, 423 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, BL, this is Zach. How's it going?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, have you heard of this bill, H.R. 51?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it passed back in, I think, the end of June in the House. And something interesting about it, I thought you might want to check it out a little bit. You'll find it interesting if you Google it right now, or maybe your chat can Google it. Sorry, I'm at work. I'm a little bit out of breath. I'm on break right now. But if you people in the chat want to Google it, H.R. 51, D.C. Mayor, you'll see her statement on it, and I think you'll find it really interesting. Basically, it's to make D.C. the 51st state. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, something really interesting. If you read her statement, it's just one page. It's probably like 4 or 5 paragraphs. But she there's a lot of interesting language in it. Quoting Frederick Douglass. Of course, you know, people are out tearing down Frederick Douglass statues right now. And a lot of abolitionist talk in there. And I don't know if you know how many people live in that area, more than 700,000. And their motto, or I guess you'd say, like when you buy your license plate tag, what it shows is, or what you can get wording on it is, taxation without representation.
Yeah.
So I thought that language was really interesting, because there's a lot of cognitive dissonance around her statement and what's going on with the left right now, protesting out in the streets. And it really fits a narrative of abolition, but not abolition like we're used to in history with the Republican Party. This is like abolition of, like abolishing police, abolishing government.
Right.
I didn't know if maybe you said you hadn't heard about it, so you might want to look into that. It's I see this playing out a couple different ways, but I don't want to get like into, like political theory or whatever strategy too much. But the Republicans hold the Senate by 4 seats. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so. 51-47.
Yeah. So this bill passed the House, and now it's got to pass the Senate. Now, I mean, my thing about all of this with the protests is I see the right as trying to, or Republicans trying to engage in activities that alleviate stress, like going to church, concerts, going out to eat, going to school. And I see the left as promoting things that, or they're only about promoting angst, riots, protests, staying isolated, staying at home. And I can't help but feel that they've kept these protests going so long, but now they're self-motivated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't even have to, coerce them or direct them or anything like that. The protests are carrying on their own. I mean, you see them singing songs now. It's almost like a cult. They got their own movement. I just can't help but think in a couple months what happens when they say, hey, 750,000 people are still in modern-day slavery. They're not even free. I would hate to see, protests and rioters descend on D.C. I think I think that could be a really, really bad situation.
I mean, they already been there, but it ain't gonna be nothing like that. That's not even. It's not going to be anything more than what it is, in my opinion.
I hope that way, but I can't help but think negative about it because of I don't know. I'm really into history, and I just see the left as always desiring centralized power, or I guess the history of the Democrats is centralized power. I don't really think they want communism. I don't think that they want that. I just think it's a means to their end. I think they're just using this to get that centralized power. And D.C. is its own state. And if you look in history, when it was in New York and Philadelphia, they were pressured by the state.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think that's really what it's about. And if you look, I mean, I think Republicans haven't been in D.C. in any kind of position there since like 1964. So I mean, there's just a lot of it didn't really get any media attention. People haven't been talking about it. But to me, that's a huge issue. I mean, especially since Trump, he has federal agents defending federal property. So isn't all of D.C. federal property?
Yeah, but you also got the police. It's kind of weird the way they got it. You have D.C. police. That's like local D.C. police. Then you got the federal police. Like if you get locked up in D.C., you go to the federal detention center. You don't go to there's no actual local jail in D.C. Everything is federal. So it's just kind of a weird situation. But I don't think it really go anywhere beyond what the little protests they have been. That's not really a threat in my humble opinion. But hey, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. I just thought it would be, you'd find it fascinating to look into. Maybe
definitely
people in chat might like it. But I hope not. But yeah, I don't know. People are crazy, and I don't know what people will try to do. But appreciate your time, man. Have a good night.
All right, same to you.
Yep.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let me get to the next call. Let's go. Hold on here. Let's go. 419, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing, ABL?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, two things. My first time calling you. Just wanted to say, hey, I'm my birthday same. We share the same birthday, September 22nd. I'll be 54 years old, and I was gonna say that just everybody said the same story. I'm an artist too, as a matter of fact.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm calling from Atlanta. I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio, but I'm like I said, I'll be 54 years old, and like I say, of course, like I said, like we all share the same story as far as like being a Democrat at one time. I left the plantation in '92, and it's just I'm so proud to hear young people like yourself, like Tatum and the other people expressing your conservatism and things like that. Because being at the age that I am, we always kept our stuff to ourselves and things like that. And to hear y'all put yourself out there like that, I'm just so proud. I'm just proud to see that and hear that. And I'm glad y'all out there. And this is my first time even expressing myself, because, like you say, when you say stuff to people in your family and things like that, they kind of ban your family and friends and stuff like that. And you got to keep all your stuff to yourself. My youngest son is 22 years old, and he just graduated college. So he had to deal with a whole bunch of stuff while he was in college. But he took a lot from what I said, as far as like being a leader and not being a follower and stuff like that. And he has like a lot of conservative values, and I have 3 kids, and he's my youngest one. And like I say, I'm always recommending all these different black conservative, not just black conservative, just conservative outlets and stuff like that. And you're gonna be one of the main ones I'm gonna tell them about things. But like I say, I don't want to hold you up, but like I say, it's just I'm proud of y'all, man.
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot to me, because a lot of people don't want to say too much about being conservative. They kind of want, like you said, keep it to themselves. They don't want to say too much. So I'm glad that there's more of us out there, and it ain't just me, it ain't just you, it's a whole lot of us, man. So thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I know that's the crazy thing. Like I said, I had a conversation, like a little lightweight conversation with my sister, right? And all of a sudden, she decided, she heard what I was saying, but then she decided to call me Uncle Tom. She was playing. We always play with each other and things like that. but I never really spoke my feelings about stuff. And she was on the slide calling me an Uncle Tom, and I just ignored it and things like that. And then we just got into that conversation, and I didn't say anything else about it. And she texted me and stuff. It just, she was just saying, well, I was just playing with you. I was like, well, okay, whatever. Like I said, but I didn't press it, so, but like I say, man, it's just like say, I'm very proud to hear all these young, like I'm 50, I'll be 54 the 22nd of September. So it's like, it's so cool to see everybody coming out and hearing, with these outlets and stuff like that. Like I say, you have a large platform and things like that. Just like I say, I'm proud of y'all, man. So
I thank you, man. It means a lot to me.
I ask you one quick question.
Okay.
You said you into hip hop, right? Who's your favorite people? Was you ever in the go-go and stuff like that? You from Virginia and stuff like that? Was you in the go-go or were you mainly in the hip hop and stuff?
I mean, I would hear go-go when I go to DC, because I'm from like Virginia Beach, like about 3 hours away. I got family in DC, so I hear all the time I go up there. Backyard Band, all these people, I hear them. So I know a little bit about go-go. But rap, when I was into it, I was in the Wu-Tang, I was in the Mobb Deep, I was into all the New York stuff. That was my main thing.
The 90s,
yeah. And then when Atlanta came around, I was into a lot of that stuff too. T.I., Ludacris, all of that. When I was like high school, college, like this had it been like, this probably was like early 2000s when I was into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I started in '79, man. So like I said, I'm a little bit older than you. Plus, I was in the hip hop culture, so I was a writer, and I still do some graffiti and things like that. So, but I don't want to hold you up, man. But like I say, I'm hoping one day when you come to Atlanta again, whatever, I get a chance to meet you, whatever, and just shake your hand and things like that. But like I say, y'all keep doing what y'all do, and like I said, I'm very proud of y'all, man. And you take it easy, man.
Man, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. I appreciate calls like that. It ain't just me. I mean, I get that, more than what you would know. People coming up to me, black folks coming up to me, say, hey, man, thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate you because, it ain't too many of us that really speak out. So I appreciate calls like that because it lets me know that I'm going in the right direction. All you guys really give me a good morale boost for sure. All right. Now, Virginia Beach, if you go from Virginia Beach to DC, you can make it to like the Beltway in about 3 hours and 15 minutes, 3 hours and 3.5 hours. If you don't got no traffic, you could pretty much make it. Okay. If 95's not backed up, you'll be pretty much there in about 3.5 for sure. Okay, let's get to the next call. All right, caller, this is a Skype call. Who do we have?
Hey, this is Jacob, baby. How's it going?
Everything's good, man. About yourself?
I am good. So I just really had one thing to ask you, and I might sound a little bit crazy asking this, but have you seen the interview of Kamala Harris and I mean, it could have been photoshopped, I guess. It could have been photoshopped. But, like, her eyes are eyes, and then she blinks, and then they go, like, all black. And then she, like, blinks again, and they go normal. And there's actually a video of it on YouTube, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it's just a bad camera because what's happening with all this virus stuff is that people are at home using webcams and iPhones and everything else and bad lighting. So I think there might have just been a bad camera, a camera malfunction. That's my opinion. I don't know about anything else, but that was definitely poor video from the beginning. That's probably what caused the craziness with her eyes and whatnot. But I did see that.
Yeah. All right. I see. AVO always talking sense into me. Not saying I was freaking out over there or anything, but I was like, dude, Satan back. But yeah, actually one more thing. I was in a party today on PlayStation with a few guys, and we were talking about college and stuff. And the one dude was talking about college he's trying to get into, and he said, it's really hard to get in, especially if you're black. And now I'm like, I didn't say anything because I'm not trying to get political when I'm playing a video game, because that's kind of silly. But like, isn't affirmative action like a thing for like all schools? Like, don't like Asians have to have the highest ACT score and then like whites and then blacks or something like that? Or am I wrong?
Well, affirmative action in schools, I'm not sure if affirmative action applies to schools. I think what happens is the schools have their own policy to get more blacks and Hispanics in, but not all schools may have it. So prime example, you have Harvard. They're getting sued right now by Asians because Harvard has different criteria to get in than other schools. And one thing they want to do to keep Asians out and to get more blacks and Hispanics in is to grade Asians on this personality test. Like, they want to not only look at your ACT, SAT, or whatever, and your GPA, of course, they want to look at your personality. So are you personable? Can people get along with you? All this, that, and the third. Asians were always scoring very low in the personality department. It's like, why is that the case? Like, are all Asians just bad personality? They're just bad people? No, obviously not. At a certain point, you know, a lot of the kids who come into school are pretty much the same. But the issue is that they were having so many Asians succeed and come to Harvard. It was just mostly whites and Asians. So the only way they could get them to not be there so much is on a thing that's kind of like by their own discretion, not by the test score, not by their grade point average, but by personality score. So they have things to keep certain races out and to bring other races in. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that a lot of these woke schools across the nation want more blacks and Hispanics, and the jobs as well. They want more blacks and Hispanics, whether it's affirmative action, the EEOC, or whatever. They want more. So to say that you can't get into college if you're black or whatever, or it's harder, is just false, totally false. Actually, it's easier to get into college because a lot of colleges are going to bend over backwards to try to get you in.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what I was thinking. And I mean, I didn't want to say it because, I mean, we were just chilling. Again, like I said, playing video games, and I ain't trying to get into a fight with, you know, people usually on the left. They don't want to talk. They just want to fight and call you a racist. And then I'm out the party, and it's like, all right, well, I'm playing with myself. Well, not like that.
I got you. Understood.
Yeah, sheesh. But, yeah, that was really all I had to call about, ABL. You take care, man. Have a great night, and stay safe, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, bye.
Yeah, shout out to the caller. Yeah, to anybody that says it's hard to get into school because you're black, I mean, that's crazy. It doesn't make no sense. Like, I never have heard that. That's not really a real thing. When I was in college, when I was going to college, it was real easy. It was nothing. And really, it's all about trying to get money at the end of the day. But that's a different story. So I digress. My whole point is, it's not difficult to get into college, not in the least bit. Let me get to the next call. All right, caller, who do we have?
Hi, my name is Jesse.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, first of all, I love your show. It's awesome. I just wanted to talk on a few things.
Oh, you froze up, caller. Can you hear me? Caller, are you there? Because you're freezing up right now. Okay. Yeah, he froze up, so I don't know what happened. So shout out to him. Unfortunately, his connection froze up, but it's all good. The number to call, 434-658-1220. And the number is always in the description box right below the video. It's always right there at the very top. So if I talk too fast or whatever, you can always see it right there in the box. Let's get to the next call. Unknown caller on the line. Who am I speaking to? Hello? Unknown caller. All right, we don't got all night. Sorry. Okay, pro tip to anybody that wants to call in, be ready to answer the phone, please. If you're trying to watch the stream, there is a delay, so you will not be able to watch the stream and talk to me at the same time. It is not possible. Just telling you right now, you're not going to be able to do it. It's like trying to jump over a canyon with your bike. It ain't going to work. You're going to fall into the depths. Okay, let's get to the next call. 803 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
How you doing, man? This is well, my name is Cyrus Cherry. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Pretty good. So, I'm new to this whole thing. Been watching you for months now. I drive trucks. I'm from South Carolina. I'm 32 years old, black guy. And you know, it's a lot of things that's on my mind, but obviously you real busy. But when you try to debate someone that's on the left, like I subscribe to this guy's channel earlier, and he had a lot of YouTube followers, and he was far left. He was like the so-called new Democratic socialist, and I'm just wondering, do you think it's a good idea for us who are now consider ourselves? Because I'm definitely voting for Trump. I'm like I said, I've always voted. Well, I was eligible to vote my first time for Barack Obama's first term. I voted for him. I didn't vote for him the second time, and I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for Trump or Hillary last time. I simply didn't care. But now I'm like, my God, man, it's real important that we vote. But I'm just wondering, do you think, how important do you think, like, do you watch a lot of liberal YouTubers? Because don't you think we need to be able to be prepared, like President Trump's secretary, press secretary, she's always prepared. So don't you think, would you advise some, especially if you're a black person, to really kind of get into the minds of these people by watching their YouTube channels? It's kind of cringy to watch, but what's your take on it? Do you watch a lot of liberal YouTubers?
I don't watch much political YouTube because it kind of interferes with me being able to do my content. Because when I watch political stuff, like if I'm like, I don't ever write a script for my video. So when I'm just talking, I don't want anybody's thoughts or words to get into my mind because I saw it earlier in the video. I want it to just be straight for me. So you getting 100% my take without me subconsciously putting somebody else's word or their phrase or something. I just don't, I can't concentrate with watching other YouTubers. It's just hard for me to do that. So if I get a clip or something and somebody sends to me, I might watch that. But to watch like an entire thing or multiple videos, I can't do it because I can't really do my content. But I think that everybody should read everything. That's my main thing I tell everybody. Read everything from all over. That's what I do. I don't watch other YouTubers, but I do read all the liberal stuff. I read CNN, Washington Post, if I can, New York Times. I read all that because I want to see what they're talking about. That's where you really get down to the core of what they're trying to accomplish. The YouTubers, a lot of times, give you just whatever they're talking about, and they read that stuff. So I read all the liberal stuff.
Okay, well, I really appreciate it because I don't know if I brought this up. Being out here on the road, I have a whole lot of time on my hands. So I spend a good chunk of my time watching, you, Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, and then, and I've been pretty successful at it. So successful with the first thing, my pastor called me the other day because he was wondering, like, well, Cyrus, you acting kind of different. He was like, well, you a little bit more confident. And he called me the other day, and the first thing he said was, Cyrus, I don't want to talk about politics. Because he's one of these old school type of guys. Like he's an older guy, an older black guy. And when it comes to Mr. Lewis that just passed away, I was watching another conservative black lady speak about him, and she was like, well, he knew he was being beaten, up there in Selma. He knew he was being beaten by white Democrats. And then, like, Maxine Waters, and, like, he's an older Democrat. She's 80, I believe. I'm like, wow, how in God's name did they become Democrats? And I know that's their whole theory about the party suddenly just magically flipping. I could debunk a statement like that on my own, but I'm like, the Democrat Party, and it's to the point where I feel like it's really hard for me to talk to someone who's a Democrat or liberal. And let me ask you just one last question. Do you think, because a lot of people, because they want to talk about this so-called systematic slavery, I think it is a systematic slavery with Democrat mentality, because a lot of black people still, like, obviously, out there rioting, that's how they expect us to act. Like, we're just ignorant, we just have no sense, angry all the time. And, I would like to know, could you, like, I don't know, like, I feel like this is more or less something, like, I've heard one person say good versus evil at this point, because it seems like the Democrat Party really wants to represent everything that's evil. I don't know if you would take it that far, and I don't think you really, I know you said one of your videos, you said you don't really identify as a Christian, but, I mean, can you relate to what I just said about that in any type of way, or or no?
What, as far as
Because
Democrats pushing evil?
Right. I really think they are pushing that. I really think they just pushing pure evil.
Well, I think that a lot of them don't even understand what they're doing. Most people out there think that they are doing something that's noble and righteous. That's what they think. That's their thought process, but they're not doing anything right. And what they're being led by people that are evil. That's the end of it. They're being led by evil people to do things that are just going to be destructive to the nation. And these people have ulterior motives. They're trying to install communism and Marxism and stuff like that. That's the goal of some people. But the people that are out there, the regular foot soldiers, don't understand that. They don't really get it. So, man, thank you for your call. I got a little more calls on the line. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thanks for what you do.
All right, thank you. All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, the left, they're trying to push Marxism, communism, and whatnot. And those that are out there, the mindless drones, the mouth breathers, they think they're doing something right, but they're not doing anything right. Shout out to Olivia Kizab. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. Who says, tried to call, but I know you're busy. Wanted to say I was so upset with the left and myself for being as upset at the left. It's sad they think we justify Chauvin's action when it's not the case. I wish the left would see the bigger picture. Have a good night. I'm with you. It's all about just, knowing what the truth is. If you're able to identify the truth, work from that. Don't, live in a lie and then just, park yourself in the lie. That's not productive at all. Thank you for your donation. And shout out to Praying for the Rapture, who says, ABL, late for the party, but made it. Keep bringing the truth with your awesome self. I thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you guys. And thank you all for joining. Most certainly appreciate you. Let's get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. All right, caller, who do we have?
Hi, I'm the one that it messed up on, so I hope it doesn't mess up again.
All right, man. What's going on?
Hey, man. Like I said, I love your show. I just had like a small thing to touch on, like two things. So censorship with conservatives on YouTube, obviously it's been happening for years now. And I've been wanting to make, my channel more conservative, talk more about political issues. But do you have any advice for people? Because I never used to care or be scared about, the backlash and just the tyrant of cancel culture. But in recent years, I've noticed that I've gotten more hesitant. Do you have any advice for, other conservatives who want to kind of just get out there and do it?
I say just, one thing I could say in general is, if you can keep your language and stuff to keep it clean language and just be professional. That's my main thing. Be professional. You could present whatever you want. Be professional. This whole thing about censorship is kind of overblown in my humble opinion, where guys kind of get wrapped up, where they get trapped up. If they get into any kind of controversy on YouTube or they get demonetized and whatnot, is when they get into the foul language or when they talk about things in a disrespectful way for no reason. They get into targeted harassment. Like targeted harassment is when you are picking on a random person. I don't do that. I don't do any kind of YouTube drama on my channel at all. I talk about politicians. If you are a public figure, a politician, you're fair game because you are a public figure. You were elected by us. Therefore, you get a right to be criticized and critiqued and whatnot. Maybe even just straight up disrespected. When you're talking about just a random normie on the internet, you can't really do that. Not on YouTube, at least. So if you want to, be on YouTube, be successful, you can go about it just by being professional and giving straight facts. With your own flair, of course. I'm not just saying be your drone, but at the same time, just, carry it like you were on TV. Think about if you were on TV and it was your show and you wanted to give your viewpoint, understand that you're on TV and you got advertisers, you got other people to be able to try to manage, and it ain't just you by yourself on the island. So if you could think about it from that perspective, I think you'd be successful.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. And another thing I wanted to touch on, this is just kind of like a side thing, but I was reading today, it came out about 15 hours ago, that apparently Biden is leaning towards Kamala Harris for his VP, and it just got me thinking, I don't think even the Democrats are expecting him to run the country, let's say off chance he does win. So what I could see them doing is have him step down and then Camilla take over. Like he could probably step down for like health issues, and then that's their plan, to have Camilla, or I guess Rice is another one they're thinking between. But I mean, they would get their woman president, and they would get, you know, like I guess a reverse what happened with Hillary, and you know, I don't know, but that's just something that I was thinking about today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they know that Joe Biden's pretty much got one foot in the grave, and whoever his VP is could become the president. So I think it is kind of, I think that they're thinking about, they might want Kamala, but that's going to be kind of hard because she was really hard against him on the campaign trail. And all they're going to do is just play back what she said against Joe Biden in Trump campaign video. They'll just play back what she said. It's like, oh, his own VP hates him. That's right there. That tells you what's going on. So that'd be pretty easy to do. They might try to get Susan Rice. I think that's who they kind of eyeing right now. That was kind of a later addition. I think she probably would be the best pick for them, but they might end up getting Kamala Harris, which would be a bad decision for them, but good for us.
Yeah, I totally am with you with the coronavirus thing. I've been telling my family this since this thing first came out. I think you were saying that, oh yeah, it'll quiet down for a little bit. But it's, to me, it's going to quiet down. They're going to be like, okay, you know, we got this, we got it all in the bag, everything's cool. And then something worse may happen after it. Like, it just seems like the precursor to something, I don't know, just another thing up their sleeve.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from for sure.
And yeah, man, so I love your show. And do you mind if I mention my channel so that people would come in case I start making conservative stuff? Because we don't really have that much fan base right now.
Yeah, man, go for it.
It's of the I am. So you have to type it on YouTube because I don't have a URL. So it's just of the and I am. I'm a Christian, so I adopted that after the I am. So.
All right, man. Sounds good to me. Thank you for your call. Most certainly appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, man.
No problem. All right. Shout out to the caller. Great caller. You guys look him up on YouTube. I'll look him up on YouTube as well, see what he got going on for sure. And I thank y'all again for joining. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let's go ahead and get to it. And let's go. Victor, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Yeah, so real quick, have you heard of drill music?
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah. So have you heard what happened yesterday?
FBG Duck got killed.
Yeah. And what's so crazy about it, have you heard of this rapper named 600 Breezy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were feuding with each other. And what's so funny that he made 600 Breezy made a diss song that was about to come out, and he predicted what was going to happen.
Wow. Predicted, or did he just say what was going to happen? Like, was it a planned thing and he put in a diss song and he's dead now as a result?
No, he already made the diss song.
Okay.
At the same time, you could probably say that it was probably planned, because in his diss song, he said that you better stop making these diss tracks, or you will find yourself dead on the block.
Wow.
Yeah, I listened to his songs, and when he was to FBG Duck songs, and when he's going through his diss tracks, listing the people that he probably killed and taunting them, I mean, I'm not surprised, and it's kind of sad of what happened. And you see this a lot with a lot of drill rappers. It reminded me of this one drill rapper named Young Pappy, how after people attempted to shoot him, he came out with a song, talked to them like, y'all don't know how to shoot. And not too long after, they shot him in the head.
Well, I guess somebody did learn how to shoot, and he's gone now, but that's usually how it works.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I just feel bad for the Chicago cops, because they're going through this defunding the police, and now they have to brace themselves over retaliation like this. And the sad thing is that this did FBG Duck killing. This did not happen in Southside Chicago. It happened in the Gold Coast, where a very affluent area of Chicago, in broad daylight.
Yeah, I mean that's usually how it is. I mean that's what like these guys, these gang affiliated guys, they don't even really care where they do it at. It is when they get you. Just like with what's up, boy? Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke got killed in Beverly Hills, in L.A. And he's from New York, and they were saying that it was probably some East Coast guys that did it, so or set it up. So like when she in that kind of life, you know, it can be you can be dead really soon. This is why I always say, when these guys are out here gang banging, thugging, and drugging, it's like you're lucky if you go to jail. That's the actual. That's where you want to go if you're a gang banger is jail. But you're probably going to end up dead before you turn 21. That's going to be the ultimate goal, the ultimate place for you. If you live to be 30 years old, then you pretty much are like a 100-year-old man on Earth.
Yeah, and listen to one of FBG Duck's songs called "Exposing Me," and when he was listing all the people that he had a problem with and probably killed, only one person was over the age of 25, and that person was 26 when he died.
Yep.
And we talk about Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, exactly. But I can't. If they matter, I can't tell.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to mention about him is that he got shot twice. FBG Duck got shot twice and was stabbed by his ex-girlfriend, but he would not leave Chicago after those life events and still wouldn't leave Chicago.
I mean, people just want to stay. They just want to stay attached to the hood, but people, I don't know, man. This is this whole thing that's kind of like peer pressure. It's kind of like bullying. Oh, I want to be real. I want to stay on the block. Nah, like your whole purpose in doing whatever you're doing, if you're trying to gain success, is to leave this kind of world and environment behind, not to stay in it. But these guys, they're so caught up in that music, so caught up in that life, so caught up in Chicago. That's all they think about. It's all they really know. They don't even want to do nothing else or see anything else. They stuck to their neighborhood, stuck to their block, and then they end up dying right there. That's Nipsey Hussle. That's everybody. And of course, when you become successful in the neighborhood like that, you have to leave, because if you don't, you will get killed. You will get targeted. That's what it's going to be. You don't want to stay there. I could never go back to where I'm from, like my so-called hood, never, because they're going to find out who I am. I'm going to be a target, and it's going to be dangerous for me specifically, not just for the neighborhood, for just the general violence happens there, but for me specifically, it'd be dangerous. So, nah, but these guys don't think like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, well, luckily, Chief Keef, I mean, he's been part of the main people of drill music, and he's still alive because he moved out.
He left. Yeah, you got to leave, because if he didn't leave, he'd be dead for sure, 1,000%.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right then. Bye.
Yeah. Shout out to my man Victor for the call. Yeah, these guys, these rap guys want to be real, and nah, you have to leave that environment. Your objective is to leave the hood. That's the whole thing. This is why I was so adamant about doing that video about when Trump was saying that he's going to keep the suburban dream alive, and not have low income housing built right next to a suburb. People work all their life. Me, I was a little boy, 8 years old, thinking about how can I get out the hood? How can I leave this area? I'm seeing holes in my wall. I could put my finger through a hole in the wall and go outside. I'm like, how can I leave this area right now? So my whole life was just consumed with that type of thought in the back of my mind. And when I was able to get out, able to leave, able to be out here in the suburbs chilling, I'm not going back, and I don't want it to be brought right to my door. Not because of people black. I don't care. I don't want the element in the hood to follow me, the danger, the violence, the killing, the shooting, the rob. I don't want that anywhere near me. Okay. Nobody wants it near them. Everybody's going to work hard to get up out of that situation to try and achieve the American dream. That's just what it is. But let me get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All right, call you on the line. 517, who am I speaking to? Yes, who am I speaking to? Alex, what's going on?
Hi, listen, I just wanted to say I'm a new fan. I'm a English professor here in Panama, actually Panama City to be exact. And we've been under quarantine ever since this whole COVID thing has gone on. And like it's really bad. Like we could only leave, like males could only leave their homes Tuesdays and Thursdays for an hour and a half.
Wait, hold on. Let's pause for a minute. You said males can only leave, not the women can't leave?
Right, exactly. We have been totally segregated. Okay, so check this out. So last year at the college, well, the high school in which I teach, our school here in Panama is different. So like one school would be literally from pre-K all the way to 12th grade. One school, a private school or a public school. So I had a teacher who left to New York, and then when she tried to get a flight out from Newark, it was the same day that Panama restricted anyone from coming into the country. And then like about 2 weeks after that, they segregated everyone based on gender. And then the trans tried to come out and talking about they could come out on any day because they're trans, and the police started locking them up.
Wow. Now,
and we've been this way. We've been this way for like 4 months. And one of my students put me on to your channel. And I'm like totally impressed. Like as far as I would consider, I would consider it more kind of like journalism. And it's like I said, it's like we're living in pretty much in jail, and we see how you guys are living in the States, and we, as Panamanians, we're like really impressed, you know, because like they're forcing us to wear masks. We know that like certain states don't want to wear masks, you know. Like I said, women and men cannot meet at all in the street.
But why? What's the reasoning behind it? What's the reasoning behind the genders being separated like that?
Okay, so the word that they used here in Spanish is conglomeración, which means like accumulation of people. So like in a supermarket, what you would do is you would basically just have males just go. Like the only reason why you would have to even go to the street is if you're literally going to buy food, right? You're not going to hang out. You're not hanging out on the corner anymore because they've check out what they did. You know, like how in the States you have your, you know, you have your constitutional rights. Well, here the Panamanian Constitution, they totally violated, and like we are under martial law, but they don't call it. It's not being called martial law, but I can't leave my house right now. What time is it? It's 9:33 here in Panama. I can't leave. I can't go on the street. If police see me, they'll lock me up. So what they do is to supposedly control the amount of people that are in the street, they separate you by gender, and they also separate you by the last number of your identification number. In Panama, your ID number is your, like in the States, your Social Security. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So like if my what we call here in Panama a cédula, which is your identification, mine ends in 0. So I am only allowed out from 9:30 hasta 9:30 hasta las 11 to 11. Hour and a half.
Wow.
Do whatever you can do. Just like that. We can't protest. But there has been protests, but people just don't want to protest. Schools are like in session, but totally virtually. If you look into it, sir, it's amazing. If you look into Panama statistics, you will notice like the CDC of Panama is called MINSA, MINSA. That's the acronym, MINSA. And you'll notice that the numbers that they're giving us is totally manipulated. Why do I say it? Can you believe that about 6 weeks ago, they give us daily figures? You know, like how Trump several months ago always had speeches?
Yeah.
Every day at like 4 o'clock, like right when the stock market closed, right before the market closed. Okay, well, here they're doing the same exact thing. It's a copy paste, but in one day we had 3,000 people recovered from COVID. In one day.
Wow.
There's only 4 million people in the whole entire country.
Wow.
So the stats are manipulated, highly manipulated, and they still have us on lockdown.
Wow.
And
Like
there's nothing we can. There's nothing we can do.
now, is there any end to it? Are they going to say, all right, well, we're going to put you off of it? Is it going to be like, have they say anything about kind of tapering it down, opening it back up, or has it just been the same thing throughout the entire time?
They have, which is why I totally respect America, because I grew up in New York. So I grew up in New York, and I see why my parents, or my dad, really valued education, you know? Because like coming back now to a third world country and being an educator, you see a lot of things that in the States would not fly, not even for a second. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So they give a plan. For example, if you even look it up, Trump, our president, his name is President Cortizo, Crotizo. He tweeted out that he had a meeting with President Trump. The following day, they came out with a 5-plan step on reopening the economy. We've been stuck on Plan 2, on Phase 2 for like the last 3 months. 2 months ago, they opened it up, the whole thing, like right from one day to another. They said, okay, guys, you guys can just go back as it was after being locked down for like 2 months. Can you imagine that? You're looking at the news, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, quarantine is lifted. People were restricted to being home, segregated for 2 months at that time. They lifted it back up, and then after a week, locked it back down.
Wow.
And we haven't been out since. And then there's like been supposedly spikes in numbers. But really, because it's third world, and that's what I tell my students, and it's kind of like the things that you mentioned, which is why I really like try to check you out every day when I can. I tell my students that being poor really in most cases has nothing to do with money. It's really your mentality. Do you understand? It's how you perceive the situations that you are around. Because the only difference between myself and my friends, even though we have basically the same education, is that I'm in a different country.
Right.
You understand? And I live off of what would be considered poverty level in the States. But if I'm making $1,500 a month and I don't pay income tax, the light bill comes like maybe $30 a month, water comes $10 a month. I mean, I'm pretty much not really spending much. And the dream of these kids here is to go to the States and study and go to the United States. And they like are so absorbed by channels like yours, you know, other channels kind of like yours. I don't want to say the name because, you know, that's advertising, but, you know, so like keep up the good work. And we're here in a totally different country that I'm pretty sure that you probably haven't heard of, but you're influencing a lot of people here. And you know, hopefully, I don't know if before you disconnect, I don't know if maybe you can give me like a tip for these kids so that they can kind of like understand to never forget this whole COVID situation, because I mean, it's really like, to me, I'm 35, so this is kind of like 9/11-ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I grew up in New York, and I was like 15, 16 when that happened, so I remember seeing the towers every day on my way out of school and then not seeing it anymore. So that's something that would always stay with you. So it's not the same when you tell a 15-year-old that now, 15 years later, you know? But now when they're living in their rooms and they're in school and they're literally waking up at 7:30 in the morning and they're getting off of the computer at 2, doing schoolwork, it's
right.
a lot. It's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know what advice, you know, you could give these guys, because they're probably listening now, you know, as far as like I guess, kind of just being aware of not everything that is presented to them in the news is true.
Well, I would say this. You have access to the internet. You're able to watch my channel, many others. You're able to get what the reality is. Don't get demoralized and think whatever the government there is telling you is the reality. I know how blessed we are to live in the United States, and not everybody has that, the opportunity. So I think this whole thing will pass over, but you just got to get through it right now. It's going to be rough, but you'll be able to get through it. We'll be able to get past it. And once this passes, once this is blown over, then, don't forget what happened, but don't hold a grudge. Don't be angry all your life, but understand what happened and tell others to not repeat the mistakes that were made in your country, and see what has been done around the world, and know that what's happening to you right now is not right. They're lying, and they're also lying all over the world. So I give my best, send prayers out to them. Hopefully everything will be done pretty soon. I think once the U.S. gets back on track, I think the world will follow, man. But hey, it's been a good call. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good nice evening to you and your listeners. Bye.
Wow, that was a crazy call. I mean, segregated by gender, really? You can't even go out if you are, part of the males got to go out at a certain time, women got to go out at a certain time. And you know what? Like I said, I think this would be done and over with once we get to, once we get beyond the election, things will die down. Mark my words. It was the same thing in 2016. All right, call you on the line. How am I speaking to?
Hi, it's Alfie. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
I'm great. Before I get into what I want to talk about, to the caller from Panama, God bless. I hope everything's okay and things get better for you. To the Americans watching the show, even though you may come from low-income households, you may come from low-income areas, you really need to be grateful for what you have. You need to be grateful for everything that you have, because there are some countries that don't have those privileges, and we really need to be thankful. But yeah, what I wanted to get into, recently here in the UK, we've introduced a new, I believe it's called Eat Out for Help, or Eat Out to Help Out. And it's a scheme working for the entirety of August, where the government, some like fast food chains and restaurants can sign up to this program, where their food items on their menu will be 50% off, and the government will pay 50% of that food, and the customer will pay 50% in order to encourage people to go out, leave their homes and support the economy, right? I wanted to kind of maybe ask for your perspective on how that could work or could not work in America. Because I know our country, say 65 million people, America somewhere near 370 million people, the land size very different. But I'm very curious as to see whether you think that could potentially be something, because there are a lot of people that, although we've got our own opinions, I know your opinion on the China virus. I myself have got my own opinions, but there are a lot of people still that kind of want to sit indoors, don't really want to go out, are too scared to go to maybe fast food establishments or restaurants, and that could be potentially hurting the economy in America. So yeah, I wanted to hear your perspective on it, maybe.
Okay, so you got to run it past me one more time, like the actual plan that you know.
Okay, sorry. So throughout the entirety of August, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, only Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, fast food chains and restaurants will serve their normal food as they do, but they will only charge the customer 50%, and the government will pay the remainder of that 50%. And they're essentially doing this to encourage people to go out and support local businesses and big fast food chains. Like you've got your standard mom and pop shops, and then you've got things like KFC and McDonald's. Do you see what I mean?
So are you guys trying to incentivize people to go to these places over there?
Yeah, so we're trying to do that in order for people to kind of go back out and feed back into the economy a bit more.
Well, we don't need that here because, like, go to any fast food restaurant around here. It's a line like around the block. Like the lines are longer now that the pandemic is going on at the fast food spots.
Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because, like, over here, it's not exactly like people are too scared to go out. Potentially, it's more. I don't know. It's strange because there are plenty of people. Like, as soon as McDonald's said they were reopening, you've got tons of people queuing out the door because originally it was only a drive-through service. You got tons of people queuing out the door to go and get McDonald's because they've been deprived of it for a month. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. People are, and then also like some restaurants don't have the full you don't have full capacity at your restaurants yet, and a lot of these fast food spots are not open on the inside. All you could do was drive in your car and go through the drive-through. So everywhere you go, for the most part, it's jam packed. And then when we had a tornado that hit out here about 3 months ago or so, and it shut down like a lot of spots. Some places got hit with the tornado. It was no power for a while. So just driving up about 10 minutes away, maybe even not even that far, I mean, it was a madhouse. People everywhere trying to get to the fast food. So we don't need anything like that over here. I mean, what we need is for things to go back to normal so we can get back to capacity and have things leveled out so it's not so many people trying to go to one place at one time.
Yeah, so I know it's kind of a larger question, but what would you encourage people do to encourage, or what would you, if you say we're in charge, what would you do to encourage people to kind of go out and support more local businesses and feed back into the economy? Because a lot of businesses have hurt and shut down as of late, and it is depressing to see, especially for the people that built from ground up and they weren't kind of handed anything. They went to school, they maybe moved country to America, and they've earned their own living. It's sad to see. So what would you do to kind of encourage people to go out more?
Well, I mean, what has to happen is we have to get businesses back open. That's the main thing, because people want to go out, like they're going out, but they can't go everywhere they want to go because things are shut down or have capacity. The only thing that can really work is we get things going back to 100% capacity. That's the only thing that can happen. If that's not happening, then you're not going to be able to have people really move around and do anything. That's really the bottom line.
Yeah, and it's strange, it's like because over here, we recently also made it compulsory for masks to be worn inside all shops, regardless of whether the owners care or not. That's now a thing. But the problem is, this was only just introduced. Like when we're kind of on the down, like cases are going down. Why wasn't this introduced towards the beginning? Like, we have a conservative government here, and I support the conservative government, being a conservative, but it confuses me because we haven't really handled it too well. We're on the mend, but we definitely haven't handled it too well. And the only way that this new rule can be enforced is if a shopkeeper goes and contacts a police officer, says this person isn't wearing their mask. Because the police can't just walk into a shop and arrest someone or fine someone. I think it's a £100 fine on the spot, which is like $120, $130 fine for not wearing a mask inside a shop.
Right.
It's strange that we haven't handled this too well. Do you see anything like that happening potentially in some states?
Well, as far as like the forced mask wearing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just don't.
I mean, like where I live right now, we're technically under a mask mandate, but nobody's following it. As a matter of fact, I went to an event over the weekend, just a few days ago, and the police were there securing their event, and they were watching us not wear masks. So they're not going to enforce it. So it just depends on where you are. You know, the United States is a big place. Places, it's different depending upon which state you're in, which city you're in. Where I live, it's not really a big deal wearing a mask. It's not going to help at all. Fauci already said that the mask does not prevent you from getting the virus. It prevents the spread. And really, the virus ain't even that bad anymore. It's not even that deadly. We know pretty much what's going on, what the risk factors are. I think what should happen now is people that are that are in a high risk category, they stay home. Everyone else go back out, open back up. Hey man, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
No worries. Thank you for taking my call.
No problem.
No worries.
All right. Shout out to the caller. But yeah, open back up. It's time. We're pretty much beyond. We're over all this. Ain't nobody doing distancing. Ain't nobody. Some people wear the mask. It depends on where you are. If you go to Walmart, people wear the mask sometimes. But for the most part, you can go into a store. It'll be a sign around in front that says you got to wear a mask where you come in. You totally ignore that. I go in stores all the time, and I go on the food spots, walk in, no mask, and ain't nobody really saying nothing to me. And if I do go into a store, people got their mask on wrong. They got their whole nose out. I saw a guy that had the mask on like up under his bottom lip. That was hilarious. Like, people are not wearing the mask properly. They're not wearing masks. That whole thing is a fail. It's not even really going to work at all. So there's no purpose in doing it. Shout out to Cyrus Cherry for the donation who says, ABL, I just listened to my own interview with you. It was terrible. Please advise your future callers to write questions down before calling. I guess I thought you wouldn't answer. By the way, can you edit my part out? I can't. It's out of my hands. I didn't realize I spoke so fast. I sounded like Joe Biden. Oh, it's all good. Don't even worry about it. No, everybody can't be perfect. But thank you for your donation, boss. Definitely appreciate it. Let me get to a couple more calls and I'll wrap it on up. Let's get to 716 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, Penny. It's Jim. I just want to say thank you for all your content, and you're doing a great job. And all the haters.
Hold on. Caller, you can only call once per show. I'm sorry.
What is it?
You can only call once per show. Thank you for your call. All right, let me get to the next call here. All right, calling on the line. 607, who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL?
Yes.
Good evening, ABL. This is Chuck calling from North Carolina.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. I just want to talk about two things in particular. One was the video of George Floyd of his arrest, and the second thing was that of Beirut.
You said what now?
And the second thing was that of Beirut, the explosion in Beirut.
Oh, Beirut, yeah.
Beirut, Lebanon. First, I want to talk about Floyd, or Mr. Floyd. My question is this: why was this video not leaked earlier?
I mean, I think what happened was somebody did that when they weren't supposed to, because it was like recorded off of some kind of device, some kind of camera device, like a laptop or something. So I think it was pretty much stolen. So that wasn't supposed to happen, but it should have already come out. Really, it should have been released without having to go through this leaking process, because people needed to know the context of what was going on. But I'm not really sure why they didn't put it out.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, unfortunately, George Floyd dying was that should not have happened. I firmly believe that. But I hate to say it, but with the left or the media more or less painting him almost more or less a messiah, equal that of MLK himself, was completely bogus.
Yeah.
And this video proves that. Yeah, George Floyd is a flawed man. I get that. I understand every man in this world is flawed. But seriously, painting him so high of a messiah where he has 3 funerals?
Yeah, that was really crazy. 3 funerals, gold casket. And the crazy part is how you can't really have a funeral if you're just a regular person, or you got to have like 10 people limit. But with George Floyd, that's out the window. Not only can you have more than 10, you can have 200, 300, 500, and multiple funerals, and having the body travel all around the country. So it's crazy. It's really unfortunate.
By the way, no social distancing at his funeral.
No distancing at all. None of that going on. Yep.
I apologize. There is a third thing that's pertaining to George Floyd. Something I didn't know about until after I saw the video, or part of the video, I apologize, was George Floyd had a passenger. I have not heard a single thing about the passenger.
Yeah, I mean, that was really important. I brought that up in my video, how it was 2 passengers. It was male and a female. Male was in the passenger seat, female in the back seat. And the police talking to them. It was on camera. They were talking to him, and everything was fine. There was no problem. There was nothing. They were like on the side, kind of just observing. And I think the woman was talking to Floyd like, "Hey, you can't win. Stop fighting. Stop resisting." She was trying to help him out, trying to say, just relax. And she even said to the officer, because the officer was asking him like, "Hey, what's wrong with him? Why is he all squirrely, all this and that?" She even told the officer that something was wrong with him, all this and that. So, they, for some reason, didn't get thrown on the ground. There wasn't no knee on their neck. George Floyd had some problems that day. It was pretty clear. The autopsy revealed he had drugs in the system. I think the drugs is what caused him to behave that way, and then it led to his death. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
And further on with this, because this video that got leaked, unfortunately, I'm at fault of this myself personally. I actually believed more or less in MSM when I first saw the video. Unfortunately, Floyd's death, and I believe, and I still do believe that unfortunately what happened to Floyd should not have happened, right? But it also brings up another point. I mean, how many more times have the MSM cried wolf? You got Juicy Smoulier, you've got the Covenant kids. Now you got George Floyd. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's really a shame, but that's what's going on nowadays.
And the last thing is about the Beirut blast. And now, granted, I did see Trump. He did come on and say his generals initially think it might have been an attack of that an explosive, like a bomb. And my question, I mean, I could somewhat understand that because the blast, if you actually look at the video, the blast went up. And we actually do have an actual real record of what almost 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate explosion looks like. It happened back in the United States back in 1945, maybe 1946. I apologize if I got the date wrong, in Texas City. So we know how much that ammonium nitrate looks like when it goes. And back then, it cleared almost like a quarter mile. It was gone. Like you actually look at pictures of buildings back then, all you saw was steel I-beams. That was what was left. But that didn't happen this time. And that was actually more tonnage of ammonium nitrate than what happened back then.
Well, I'm not really sure how the ammonium nitrate back then was sparked versus this time.
Back in you can go ahead and Google it. It was called the Texas City disaster. It was the worst industrial accident of the United States of ever, period. Believe it or not, it actually initiated what's called HAZCOM, hazardous communication. Hey, this is flammable. Hey, this is explosive. You should smoke around here. That sort of thing that we actually take for granted today. It actually sparked that initial part, believe it or not, because of that massive explosion. If you actually look up the Texas City disaster of Texas, I think it was 1945, a container ship that I think it was containing about 2,000 tons of ammonium nitrate fertilizer was going to be shipped over to Japan during the Reconstruction after post-World War II. What happened was, it was theory that a dock worker threw a cigarette butt down into the container hold caught on fire, and then they tried to put out fire. They had no idea how to deal with ammonium nitrate fire, and then so the captain of the ship ultimately made the ultimate decision: is all right, fine. Since water's not working, I'm just going to smother the fire out. Well, ammonium nitrate, when you heat it up, like with fire, and then when you close up, put it in a concealed container, and then increase pressure, it causes a big giant boom. So imagine a container ship back in 1945, I think it was about 2,000 tons, give or take, of ammonium nitrate just went up. And it completely destroyed almost everything over almost quarter to half a mile.
Right.
That was one boat. This boat, or this place, had almost 3,000 tons of ammonium nitrate that went up at once. So you can pretty much, I'm an explosive expert, this, that, and the other, but, math is math.
Right, I'm with you.
All right. Nevertheless, I know you're going to have a lot of other customers, so other callers, apologies. Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right, a shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And then that'll be a wrap for the calls. You guys have been fantastic. I got super chats to read, so don't go nowhere. Hang out for about 15 good more minutes, and then I'll be done with you guys for tonight. Obviously, I'll be back live again. What's the day? Wednesday, of course. I'll be back tomorrow night on Brandon Tatum's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be back live again here on my channel Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. So again, 8 p.m. Eastern, that's the time I'm live all the time. Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Wednesday on my channel, 8 to 11. Thursday on Tatum's channel, 8 to 10. And then Saturday again, 8 to 11 Eastern time p.m. Alrighty, let's get super chats and then wrap it on up, put a bow on the top. And thank y'all for being here. You guys are the best audience on the internet. So if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed the show, if you enjoyed the channel in general, give me a thumbs up on the video, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. If you're listening on an audio streaming platform and you made it all the way to the end, congratulations. You are a champion. Here's your gold star. Imaginary, thank you for that. Also, give me a 5-star rating on the audio streaming platform of your choice. If you want to hear this particular show on audio only, there's a link for that in the description box. You can just search on your favorite audio streaming platform. What's that? Apple iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, ABL Live. You should see a nice little red graphic with my podcast right on there. So check it out. And I upload these. The Wednesday show is uploaded Friday morning, and the Saturday show is uploaded Monday morning, right around 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I try to hit the mark, 10 a.m. All right, so super chats, just read those right quick, and then I'm out. Let's see. Let me go back to where I was. Okay, let me see. Shout out to Justin from North Carolina, who says on Twitter, when I mentioned how Democrats will refuse to acknowledge Antifa and BLM or domestic terrorists, immediately I got attacked by 3 leftists. Yeah, because you know what? The left, what they don't want you to really know, what we know and what I know, especially, is that the Antifa, they're the new KKK. They're the new enforcement arm in the Democratic Party. Why would they speak ill of their own employees? It doesn't make any sense. But thank you for your donation. Shout out to John Ortiz, who says, I enjoy your content. Look forward to listening every day. Love the wooden signs in the background. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. I'll totally make you something awesomely patriotic. Woodworker here. Keep it up. Hey, thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Thank you to Doug Ripley for the donation who says, wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. Thanks, ABL, for all the knowledge. Ain't no problem. Thank you for your support and your donation. Shout out to Desmond Benton, who says, thanks for all the daily content and bi-weekly discussions. Ain't no problem. Thank you for your support and your donation. Shout out to my man, Black Conservative Patriot, again, who says, great commentary as usual, sir. If you guys are not subscribed to Black Conservative Patriot, do that right now. Shout out to, let me see, Debauchy, who says, let's give a big shout out to Jericho Green and Salty Cracker. Their YouTube channels are super chill, just like yours, ABL. 2 huge thumbs up. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate you. Thank you to Wes Jenkins for becoming an ABL supporter. Shout out to Holston Hodge, who says, hey, ABL, what have you heard about the one guy who kneeled for the American national anthem, then stood for the Canadian national anthem? I don't know about a specific person, but I have heard about that happening. So if it ain't about the flag and if it ain't about hating America, I can't tell. It clearly is about that. Thank you to Leonardo Jesus or Jesus, who says, oh, become an ABL supporter. Thank you to Auslander 808, who says, it took my team 52 years to win the Stanley Cup for the first time ever just last year, and now the NHL just lost me. Well, at least you got to see them get to the highest place, get the glory, so to speak. It's unfortunate now that they're going in this old BLM direction. Thank you to New Wave Bossa Nova for the good luck emoji with the cat blowing a megaphone. Thank you to Max Giroux or Giroux Productions, who says, has anyone else given prayers and cards if accepted to the local police department? Sorry if this has been duplicated. I lagged. And thank you for that. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's a good idea to do that. Thank you to Chris for Haken for your donation. Thank you to Smurfologist, who says, you demand ABL. I read that one already, talking about Dirty Foot rather than Lightfoot in the Chicago mayor. Thank you to George Bunny, who says, hi, ABL. What do you think about the mainstream news channel not reporting on the BLM demands in Louisville? Will BLM go unchecked? I've heard about that story. I need to report on it, actually. I might be a little bit late reporting it, but it don't really matter. I need to put it out. That's what really matters. So in Louisville, what happened was they were trying to basically like do some mafia stuff with this restaurant, trying to like charge them protection fees or something, or it was protection fees, or they were trying to say, if you don't have X amount of black workers, we want a certain percentage of your revenue. It was like, man, I ain't giving you nothing. You know, I'm not giving you a thing, not a red cent. Shout out. And then it's like, are they coming with guns? Like, how are they trying to request this money? You know, I'm calling the police or I'm getting my weapon or both. How about that? Shout out to, let me see, John War Robot for your donation, who says, take her call. Thank you to Eric Chavez, who says, wish I could send you more, but it's getting hard out here for some of us truck drivers. Keep up the good work, ABL. Hey, it's all good, man. However you want to support, watch, share, it don't even really matter, man. I just appreciate you for even being here, being a sub, or just watching it. Thank you to Eric Chavez, who also became an ABL supporter. Thank you to October Scorpio, who says, hold on, let me go back to where I was. October Scorpio said, hold on, let me see. Okay. They say, but Shorty's running wild, smoking sesh, drinking beer, and ain't trying to hear when I'm kicking in his ear. Neglected for now, but yo, it's got to be accepted that what? Life is hectic. That's that Wu. Okay. That's Kareem from Wu-Tang. And back then, there was really some actual things being said on some of these raps. But now, it's just all about melody and trying to push drug use, which is crazy. You know, back then, it was about, you know, drug dealers telling their stories. Now it's about fiends talking about how I like to get high all the time. Thank you to Shauna for becoming an ABO supporter. Thank you to Rascal77S, who says, if you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black and you won't crack. Exactly. I wrote a little, speaking of rap, I wrote a little rap today. Here it goes. Hey, black. Hey, fat. If you don't vote Biden, then you ain't black. How's that? Do I get a Grammy right now? Do I get best rap performance? How about that? Shout out to Mr. Tix, who says, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for Biden or Trump, then you ain't American. There you go. Thank you to Simpleton, who became an ABO supporter. Thank you to Praying for the Rapture for your donation. I read that one earlier. Thank you to Justin Smith, who says, Ivan 2024. No way. Shout out to James Bonillo, who says, FYI, abortion opponents protest COVID-19 vaccines use of fetal cells. Shout out to Zachary Titchen, who says, DTP, defund the police. Oh, okay. I didn't even think about that. Shout out to, and he also says, Biden's a moderate Republican. Very interesting. Let me see. Did the chat freeze over there? Yeah, the chat did freeze. Okay, let me fix that right quick. So over, like on this thing, the chat froze. Let me just fix that right quick. That's really random. It does that time and time, like occasionally. Not time and time again, just occasionally. Let me fix that right quick. All right. So I got bars. Bars. Okay, let me fix the chat right quick. Oh, it wasn't that good? All right, I gotta brush up. I gotta practice. Let me get back to where I was. Shout out to Leo Mazzino, who says, do these fact checkers ever check themselves for misleading and lies? I don't think they do. Thank you to Kelly Degler, who says, God bless you, ABL. I want to encourage you to continue with your platform and expressing the truth. Well, thank you for your donation, and God bless you as well. I appreciate you. Shout out to Tex Ready for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Liza Jean, who says, can you clip and publish the Panama call? I think I may do that. Shout out to Double O Tyrone, who says, Trump will clown Biden just like he did Hillary. Oh, man, it'd be great. Like I said before, it'd be like watching a UFC fighter give a guy the hammer fist that's knocked out already. It'd be the equivalent of that. You're talking about blood splatting. It'd be a mess, man. I don't want to see that at all. I want to see a fair fight, not a slaughter. That's hilarious. Somebody says, Bob says, ABO's bars are closed for quarantine. Hilarious. Hilarious. Shout out to Obone1 in Nebo, who says, lock down the hospital with area seal. Shout out to James Burlow, who says, I thought it was the Queen of England's funeral. Exactly, talking about George Floyd. Shout out to James Burlow, who also says he had lethal dose of fentanyl respiratory arrest. Even Narcan wouldn't save him. Exactly. Thank you to Desmond Benton, who says, thanks for the daily content and barbecue discussions. Okay, I got that one already. All right. So thank y'all for being here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show and you enjoyed my raps. Mixtape coming soon. Be ready. It's going to be called Trump 2020. Don't vote for Biden. That's what it's going to be called. I don't even care about no name. I'm just putting a message out there. Bumper sticker stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So that'll be out for me. I'll be live again tomorrow on Brandon Tatum's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be live again here Saturday night from 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. All right, that'll be it. So thank you to all the moderators. You guys do a great job. You got Rapper 10,000. Thank you for doing what you do. Elijah Jean, Michelle A. Zero Cheese Kingsword. Thank you for moderating, boss. Let me see. Bill from the Hills, Shreeves, all you guys. Zealand Zen, thank you. Killer Sushi, thank you. Thank you to everybody that's moderating. I couldn't do it without y'all, keeping them trolls in check and everything on par. So that's all I got. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.